guess what? It's Saturday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's time for what a week that was. It's the 16th of September 2023. And this is where we have a look at the week's news, see what's been going on in the UK, around the world, concentrate then on America, Australia, and a few bits and pieces going on in other countries that make me snigger and laugh, i.e. the funny bits at the end, the finally bit. So yeah, there's quite a lot to get through, and I'm a lot better than I was last week. Last week I wasn't well. I did this in 38 minutes. Normally it's about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. So yeah, let's see what's going on. First thing I'm going to do is fed up the cats today. Just bear with me a second, because I think the cat is being very naughty. Oh no, she's not. It's fine. Don't panic. Don't panic, Mr. Manred. She's being fine. She's being fine. Right then. So yeah, we got any breaking news. Rory Stewart hits out incompetence in UK government. He's the guy who was standing against Rishi for the leader, and yeah, the guy doesn't even live in Britain anymore. Home Bargains announced 3-day store closures ahead of Christmas at all UK branches. I think it's to give the staff holidays. Who owns the moon? Nobody knows. Rishi Sunak is pushing for HS2 to stop 6 miles north of Euston. So he's basically trying to stop the whole thing from actually happening, and I agree with that, but more of that later. Stormer rejects nonsense, claims that Labour immigration plans would increase asylum seeker numbers. Yeah, of course he's going to say that. The guy's an absolute melon. President lays wreath at rededicated monuments to Gardaí who died in service, so that's in Ireland. What else is going on? High streets in crisis, yes, because of nothing else, business rates. Get rid of business rates and the high street will survive. No faffing, no messing. Hello Kieran, hello Alan, hope you're both well. Anyone else who's on board as well, T, etc. Hope you're all good. So let's have a look at what's going on in the world of the news. So the first day we look at is Sunday, because, well, that's the day after today. So last week it was last week, and now it's the first day of this week, because last week's this week was this week's last week this week. Think about it, you know, it makes sense. Race to find survivors after the massive earthquake, and also to get medical supplies and water and food to the survivors in Morocco after that horrendous earthquake, you remember, that we caught the end of last week. Hiya Angela, hope you're good as well. I think we're getting the regular crew on board now, so all being well, we will be firing on all 4 cylinders. The leader of the FA in Spain finally resigns over that World Cup kiss, and the former SKP prisoner is charged with well, escaping, which is rather a surprise really, considering that's what he did. And that was, as we say, in the world of France, that is Monday. No, it's not, Sunday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I'm better than I was last week, that's all that matters. Right, Monday did come along, because, well, let's say it normally follows Tuesday, doesn't it? No, it follows Sunday. Keep up, come on folks. Crikey, you're not with it today, are we? Where are we? There we go. An 11-year-old girl who was attacked by a bulldog says that the dog that attacked her should be put down, and the owner should be in prison. It's an American Bully XL dog, and it weighed about 500 pounds or something similar like that. And now I'm not overly familiar with dogs, but I do know that some dogs should not be allowed out in public, and it's certainly not a pet. Anyway, meanwhile in Morocco, the death toll has risen to 2,862. Absolutely horrendous scenes in Morocco. These towns and cities and villages are ancient. Some of these buildings are hundreds of years old. Obviously some of them are more recent, but they're not built to regulation standards, unfortunately. Meanwhile, reports are coming in that there's been a flood in Libya. Many dead are missing in Libya after some floods. News a bit sketchy to begin with. That's the police and our ambulance whizzing up the street there, at the end of the block, so yes. 5 children in custody after being found in their grandfather's house. These children in Pakistan are the siblings of Sarah, who was found dead, 10-year-old, in a house after her father, stepmother and uncle all left the country with these 5 children. So yeah, you've got to agree that something dodgy is going on. Remember last week as well we had that wonderful weird video that the father and stepmother did, saying that it was an incident that killed her, so they thought they'd flee the country, like you do, yeah. Meanwhile, Liz Truss, sorry, it always happens when I say Liz Truss, sorry, says China is the larger threat to the UK and world, largest threat to the UK and world than anyone else. So she does have some good ideas that make sense, unlike the BMW, who I thought were actually being clever, and now being absolute idiots and falling into line with everyone else. They convert their Oxford manufacturing plant to electric-only vehicles, they said in an announcement, whereas they were the ones who were starting to push for this hydrogen, which is so much better for everyone, including the planet. Then we got Tuesday. Tuesday. Oops, hang on. There we go. I went on the wrong thing then. It turns out the situation in Libya is absolutely monstrously awful. Again, this is a city that many buildings are 50, 60, 100 years old and not able to withstand the amount of water that came through. Thousands are dead and missing in Libya after the floods. After a decade of conflict, the infrastructure basically of the city is, well, there's non-existent. And that's all because, of course, that Blair and Bush went in there and destroyed their entire civilization. Meanwhile, in Morocco, well over 2,900 people dead in the earthquake, more bodies being found all the time, many thousands more missing. On a positive note, wage rises have gone up to 7.8%, matching the rising cost of living, but only because the cost of living has come down to 7.8%. But again, it kind of takes away the claims of the doctors and all that they need 35%, and the rail strike idiots who are just ranting on about this, that, the other. Yeah, when you look at, you're right, Alan, it makes you realise how lucky we are in this country. We moan about our weather all the time. We moan about, oh, it's a bit windy, oh, it's a bit wet, oh, it's a bit snowy, oh, it's a bit hot, oh, it's a bit cold. But it's all bits. We think it's a lot, but it's nothing. We get nothing compared to weather in any other part of the world, it would seem. I mean, America gets tornadoes and hurricanes and things like that. Japan and that area gets the typhoons. There's earthquakes all over the world. There's flooding all over the world. There's burning all over the world. And we've just had a bit of a wet summer. And yeah, we still moan about it. Nothing to moan about. Kim Jong-un, everyone's favourite, no he's not, arrives in Russia to meet Putin on his bomb-proof, or armoured train. Meanwhile, on a distant planet far, far away, there is possibility of life being discovered, but it is just a hint of life. It's something to do with dilithium sulfide, and it's 120 light years away, this planet, so we're not going to find out anytime soon. But apparently there's a planet out there that's got this gas in it, which is only produced by living organisms. i.e. therefore there must be something living on that planet. It's not saying it's civilization, it's not saying it's a humanoid type or insect type things, might just be bacteria or anything like that, but whatever it is, if it is true, it's the first time we've had a life confirmed on other planets, and that's exciting, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's very exciting. Thank you for saying that. Well, you're welcome. Next up, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's bloody Christmas, isn't it? Keep up. Wednesday, and we had more news, and that is the shocking and surprising but somewhat belated news that the family of Sarah, the young 10-year-old who was found dead in a house, has returned with his her stepmom, sorry, and the uncle, and got questioned when landing and taken away in police vehicles over the suspicious death of Sarah. The cat is wandering around aimlessly at the moment. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, for God's sake! What are you doing? Right. I've not received anything. You're right, silence. No, nothing. Yeah, she walks under the wheel of me bloody chair. I wouldn't mind, she's been in here enough times when I'm moving around. Anyway. She's gone downstairs sulking. I heard a thud, 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 thud. She went downstairs. So bloody cats. Where are we up to? Now more than 5,000 people are dead in Libya. That is confirmed, sorry, and like I've said before, it's caused by the United Kingdom and NATO, starting on the was that Facebook? I don't know anything on Facebook. The illegal war that we did years ago. No one comes up and touches me. No, someone's massaged me. Oh, they're not on Facebook anymore. Doesn't help, I suppose. Ah, there we go. So, yeah, I got Guinness. I'm not pouring a Guinness for you. Get your own. So yeah, basically, the West decided that we wanted stuff from various countries in the Middle East, and we were going to get it forcibly by invading them and taking the power from them and giving them democracy. Bearing in mind that these countries have been surviving longer than we've had democracy. These countries are hundreds of thousands of years old. Well, not hundreds of thousands of years old. They're thousands of years old, whereas the British Western democracy thing, which, let's be honest, isn't working, is only a few hundred years old. So who knows best how to do things? Well, we do, obviously, because we're arrogant. And we went in there and we destroyed their country. We destroyed their infrastructure. We destroyed their politics. We killed their leaders. And then we left because they didn't have what we wanted. And the whole thing, it stinks to high heaven. And I'm just really, really, really annoyed that the situation we've got now with the migrants and the situation that they had when this water flood occurred would have been less impactful had we not intervened at any time in the past and illegally killed many of their people and many of our people as well. So the whole thing is chickens coming home to roost, basically. A bit like letting China make everything on the planet. That's coming home to bite us as well. But no, absolutely awful scenes in Libya. And, you know, the people of Libya are like us. They just want to get on with their lives and do their own thing. But we went in there and completely destroyed their entire society. Because Blair and Putin, who should be in prison for war criminals, for being war criminals, knew better. And they didn't. They were just scumbags. And they're no better than Putin in that respect. Talking of which, let's not throw together this show, you know. No. Putin says Russia will advance North Korea's space, I'd say race thing. And we will, basically, Russia says, we will help them conquer space. Meanwhile, as I was saying before, China is releasing lots and lots of cheap cars to Europe and the rest of the world, and Europe are realising now that, hang on a minute, we may have screwed up by accepting China's kind offers of making things cheap for us, because now they're undercutting and destroying our entire societies as well. Maybe what goes round comes round. The government were defeated by the Lords over their relaxation of the water pollution in order to get more houses built near such things. Is that you back again, or is that, am I imagining that? No, it's not you. No, she's sulking. I'm in trouble. But yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you come up with this idea, let's forget about finding people for polluting. If they can build more houses, we can get more people living in houses, we can get more taxes from people, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it doesn't really work like that, does it? Oops, Thursday. The next thing that happened was, yeah, I think it's Silence who's a bit upset now, but never mind. So we got to Thursday. Libya, now over 20,000 feared dead. Now the problem you've got with Libya is these figures are all over the place due to the fact that Libya, since we illegally destroyed their government infrastructure and everything, and killed millions of their people, well, maybe not millions, but I suppose over a period of time we must have killed at least 1 million of them with the amount of damage we caused to their setup that they had. What was doing? Oh yeah, 20,000. There's now 2 governments running it in 2 different parts, and they don't get on with each other. So there's been civil war going on as well, because we destabilised the whole thing. Dams that were meant to protect and store water for these cities and towns and for the farmers and everything have not been maintained. So when there was a massive amount of water and amount of flooding, they just burst. And when one dam burst, it fell down at a valley at great speed with a lot of water behind it as well, and just smashed through a smaller dam, and that's what came through this town, stroke city, and killed all these people. Again, blood is on our hands, as in the United Kingdom and America as well, and other countries who went into that war. Meanwhile, the NHS waiting list is now 7.68 million. Rishi Sunak is saying that we're doing really well. I define what well is, but anyway, in reducing the speed it's going up. So it's not going up as steep, so therefore that is a positive. Yeah, that's how politicians think, isn't it? It's very scary. Will HS2 make it past Birmingham, is the question being asked by many people, and the government and Downing Street will not give a reply. They will not say whether it is or it is not going to do that. Personally, I don't think it should. I think the whole thing is a complete waste of time, waste of money, and that money could be spent better on other things. So HS2, as far as I'm concerned, should be scrapped. All this money, all this effort, just to save 20-30 minutes on a trip from Manchester to London. Bearing in mind that since COVID in particular, people are now doing a lot more online meetings and things like that, so you don't actually have to meet people. Sadly, these two might be running the government soon. It's a very blurry Keir Starmer, best way to look at him, and he said that he's got to deal with the migrant crisis by coming to an agreement with Europe on how many migrants we will take, which could be up to 100,000 a year, which is more than what we're currently getting coming over on the boats. But they won't be coming over on the boats. But the problem you've got is that even if he does do this, it's not going to stop the boats, because there'll still be people who think, well, we need to get over there. So you've basically doubled the problem. The guy hasn't got a Scooby-Doo. I dare say he's very intelligent, but he's thick as pig poo. It's just horrible. HS2, good idea, but the wrong time. Yeah, it's behind its time. It's like, can you imagine spending a lot of money destroying town centres to build cinemas in this day and age? It'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Who would do such a thing? You couldn't imagine it. So let's build a train line that's 20 minutes faster. They won't be ready for another 10, 15, 20 years anyway, if it ever gets finished. And we will, but people will be like, well, we don't need to do that anymore. And probably by then we'll probably have air cars or something similar. So you'd be able to fly to London in like a quarter of the time that the train would. So no, the whole thing's complete rubbish, but so's Keir Starmer, so what can you do? NASA gave a press conference speech thing about aliens to say whether there are not aliens, and basically what they said was, we're not telling you whether there are aliens or not, but what we are saying is there are some unidentified objects that are in the air and are sighted and filmed and everything, but we don't think they're aliens, but they might be. So that's cleared that up. Thank you, NASA, for absolute goal. Of course, we've got the Mexico coming up soon with what they've come up with this amazing show that they've done with these mummified aliens, but more of that soon. Anyway, that brings us nicely, there's a lot of news this week, it must be said, brings us nicely to Friday. Keep your Grambo, fetch your cloth. And horrific horrific images, once again, these satellite images, which seem to be very common these days for when disasters strike, and they just show some of the devastation that has gone on. It's obviously the same area, but before the floods and after the floods, and particularly if you look from the bottom left corner, diagonally along the river, which is a dry riverbed there, to the sea and the harbour, you can see it's a very narrow river channel, and now it's incredibly wide and all the buildings have been destroyed. Plus you can see a lot more sand, mud and stuff in the, well, pretty much everything from the middle left to the top of the map, and also around the harbour as well. You can see the amount of muck that's gone through there, and this is a city. It's not a town, it's not a village, it's a city. It's been absolutely wiped out. Paul Smith, Russell is innocent. I'm coming to Russell in a bit, Paul. You have to bear with us, because it's breaking news. We've had a little bit of breaking news. We've done a bit of breaking news, but yeah, we'll be coming back to that. But yeah, it's absolutely horrific what's gone on in Libya. Now, I'm not saying that you know, natural disasters are caused by the fact that the UK and America invaded Libya and all the other countries as well, but we've certainly destabilised them, and we've completely wrecked their financial status and everything. So yeah, they reckon there's 900,000 people affected by the flood in just that valley, never mind places that we've not got to yet because they're isolated. Meanwhile, Rishi Sunak, everyone's favourite Prime Minister from the last two, says that the American XL Bulldogs are to be banned, which makes sense. These dogs are not bred as pets. These dogs are not kept as pets. These dogs are basically bred to be aggressive, and the people who own them generally have them as trophies. Look at me, I've got the hardest dog in the world. But they don't know how to control them. It's not the dog's fault that they don't know how to be controlled. It's not the dog's fault they've been bred. The problem is they have been bred and they've not been brought up right. Ergo, they've got to be banned. Now, it's very difficult to ban them because apparently they're interbreeds of different dogs. So just ban a lot of them. How many people do you hear being killed off killed by cats? How many people do you hear being killed by Labradors? How many people do you hear being killed by Chihuahuas? How many people do you hear being killed by Alsatians? None. It's always this type of dog, this pit bull dog. And they're being bred in order to be aggressive. They're even sold by showing the father lineage of each dog, and they've all got names like Brutus and Titan and a Slayer and all that kind of stuff. It's just not a pet. It should not be allowed out on the streets, full stop. It should not be allowed in a house. It should not be allowed to exist. It's not the dog's fault, I get that. I'm not saying we kill all the dogs because they've been naughty. They've been bred to be what they are, and it's our fault for doing it, but we need to sort this out before more people get killed. We've had a lot of dog maulings, and it turns out that a few of these have been involved in a lot of them. So yeah. But yeah, they're just trophy dogs. Look at me, I'm a drug dealer, or I think I'm a drug dealer, or I think I'm hard, I've got this dog. But you can't control it, and it's going to end up killing more people. 52-year-old bloke has been killed by, not a child, a bloke, 52-year-old. Younger than me. Scary. It's the problem you've got is the dogs are getting blamed for this, but it's the owners and the breeders who are at fault. But it doesn't stop the fact that the dogs are dangerous, and that is the tragedy of the whole thing. But just get rid of all this type of dog, all of them. Just get them gone. And you can't breed them underground, because as soon as you're out on the street, poof, you're done. If you get found with one of these dogs that you're riding illegally, then it's going to be cruelty, because the dog's being caged somewhere so it can't get out. That's as bad as letting them run loose. So no, I have no sympathy for people who've got these dogs. I'm sorry, you've got it for a reason. You've got it to show people that you're hard and can't be messed with. But you just haven't got the kahunas to teach it how to behave itself. So yeah, angry. Sorry, I'm over it now. And relax. Meanwhile, the scumbag murdering nurse has decided that she's now going to launch an appeal on her sentence, as it's too long. No, I've got a perfect solution. Why don't we let her work in a doggy daycare? Preferably with bully XLs. Kill two stones with one bird. Or one bitch with a load of bitches. Sounds good to me. Talking of arseholes, the family of Sarah are now charged in court and are currently being kept in remand over the possible murder of poor Sarah, whose body they abandoned to flee to Pakistan, which doesn't give them any excuse whatsoever. I agree with everything you said about those dogs. Yeah, like I said, it's not the dog's fault. I'm not a dog hater. It's the people who bred them, it's the people who own them, and why the people own them, and it's just pathetic. It really is. It's like having a blower on your exhaust of your car. There's a certain type of person who has these dogs. Yeah, that's what I said before. They are wannabe drug dealers, wannabe hard men, wannabe I can bully you. Are you Silence? You okay now? Your paw alright? Yeah, okay. She's back. Wales is to impose 20 mile an hour speed limits from throughout all built up areas. And the idea is it reduces the stopping distance of a car when it hits someone. When it has to do an emergency stop. So it's instead of 23 metres on average, it's going to be 12 metres. Now, I remember Top Gear years ago, they did a thing on this when it was still good, and Jeremy and Co did a thing on stopping speeds and the highway code and all that. And they basically said that the cars at the time, this is like 15 years ago, so the cars have got better since, could literally stop on a dime compared to what it said on the back of the book. And if you're doing 20 miles an hour and you can stop in 12 metres, but for 30 miles an hour you stop in 23 metres, I don't really see what a lot of difference it makes. The only thing it does is it slows everyone down, which means more people are going to be speeding, because more people are going to be doing 30 and a 20. People are going to be thinking that they're only doing 20 and a 20 and cross roads when they shouldn't do, really, because they think the cars are going slower than they actually are, and it's probably going to end up having more and more and more people getting injured by these things, and it's just silly. I don't understand. I get it if it's like a residential street, so not a main street through a estate, for example, but the little roads off the estate, the cul-de-sacs, that kind of thing. Get it for that, absolutely, yeah. But main roads and roads going through places, no, I don't get it. Just put in, more traffic calming things. But no, 20 mile an hour everywhere. And I can't see how that's going to help the environment, because surely to God, if you're going slower, you're going to be in the environment for a few seconds longer. If there's lots of cars, that's minutes or hours longer. And you're going to get more pollution, rather than the cars whizzing through at 30 mile an hour. Or is that just me being naive? Oh. Turns out, when our so-called fit escapee escaped last week, the hottie who had a body of a 5-year-old, and a lot of women said, oh, he could sleep in my bed. Jesus. Well, he got rearrested again, as we said, and it turns out on the day he escaped, there were 80 prison officers not turned up for work that day. 80. What are you doing? I don't know what she's doing. From Wandsworth. Yeah, so absolutely ridiculous that these people just didn't turn up for work when it was like quite important, because you're a prison officer and work is quite important, innit? I can hear something going on, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, today, Saturday, panic is now rising in the fact that supplies of clean water, food, medical equipment, etc. are not getting to the people who are trapped in their cities, towns and villages quick enough. Everything's been destroyed for the infrastructure, so they've got no running water, no electricity, they've got no medical equipment. The hospitals have been either destroyed, flooded or overwhelmed by the number of people there. So this humanitarian crisis is just escalating, and there are also possibility that typhoid could be a thing as well, which again is going to be absolutely horrendous. Meanwhile, in Harpurhey, Manchester, a 14-year-old boy has been stabbed to death last night. It's basically another knife crime incident with a youngster, 14-year-old. Apparently 14 and a 13-year-old have been arrested and possibly face murder charges, but we need to find a way of stopping children killing children. Now in America, I've gone on many times about the gun laws and everything else, and it is true that the gun laws are absolutely pathetic in America, but then our knife laws are not much better. The only thing is, if there isn't anything to get from this, it's less likely to do a mass murder with a knife than it is to do a mass murder with a gun. If you've got a gun, you are more likely to kill more than one person with that in one episode, whereas with a knife you've got less chance, because obviously you've got to be closer to the people, and it's just more difficult. So in a way we're ahead, but we're so far behind as well, because even one child being killed by knife crime is too much. But I mean, it's not just one, is it? It's got to the stage now where they're not even being reported nationally all the time, because it's coming quite common, particularly in the capital, London, Birmingham and places like that. Just horrible. These families are now living without, their beautiful, as they would see it, young man or woman. It's just awful. Meanwhile, the chief vet has said that there will be no culling of these animals. These animals, these bully XLs, will be, well, you'll have to register it. It will have to be neutered, which means it can't have any children, and it will have to wear a muzzle the entire time it's outside, which is like a compromise, because I suppose in a way some of these dogs are pets, but they're not pets. These are not pets. These are status symbols. These are, I'm hard as nails. You know, don't mess with me or I'll set my dog on you. And they're trained to do that as well. It's not the dog's fault. I feel sorry for the dogs, but I don't think that's a way of getting forward with it. I think, unfortunately, the only way this is going to get sorted is by euthanizing them. Yeah, it's just a horrible thing that we've got to. But, you know, other people are going to get hurt and or killed. This is an image I saw. This is a bit random. This is a block, a tower block that's on fire earlier on this week. I'm not exactly sure what city it was in, but the date on it was literally a date this week, and it's in some kind of desert environment, because when the camera flies around you can see desert in the distance, so I assume it's the Middle East or something similar. And look what's going on. It's basically Grenfell. It looks like the cladding has caught fire, and you're like, surely to God, we've got this problem here in the UK, but surely other countries have seen what happened at Grenfell and need to do something about it, and it looks obviously like they've not. It's not appeared in any other news I've seen, but it's just absolutely horrendous. Next up, and finally for this section, remember there's more sections coming, Russell Brand has been accused of rape and sexual assault, and you're like, he's quite an easy target, isn't he? Because he's always been very extrovert. When he used to do, he rose to fame on Big Brother, which ironically is coming back soon on ITV2, on Channel 4 when he did Big Brother's Little Brother. And he was always very loud, shall we say. There was a video of him before that, when he was at a protest somewhere, and I don't know whether he stripped naked or whether he just dropped his trousers, but he definitely got to see little Russell, shall we say. So he's always been a little bit out there, and more recently he's become a YouTube sensation by criticising and conspiracising various different bits and pieces, including obviously the governments, the way the world's being run, questioning everything. Now a lot of the stuff he says I don't agree with, but I do feel that you are entitled to put your opinion out there if you've got a valid reason to do so. It'd be hypocritical of me to say otherwise, bearing in mind that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So yeah, it's one of them things where Russell Brand is a brand. He's done very well for himself. He's had TV shows, he's a stand-up comedian, he's had a few movies like Get Into the Greek, which I wouldn't have watched if you paid me, and various other bits and pieces as well. But he's one of these people who is becoming irritating to the various people above the governments, and you do wonder if some of the stuff that's being brought up now is being brought up conveniently to silence him, so that he won't be criticising them anymore. And is this what's going to happen to everyone? I mean, let's be honest, it might be true. He might be a nasty, horrible, cruel, control freak man. But there's a possibility that this is only coming out because he's getting more vocal and getting more people following him. And this is a way of governments and the blob, or whatever you want to call it, to actually silence him and get rid of him by basically rubbing his, or dragging his name through the dirt and then urinating on it. Dotty Lady, I think he's innocent. Sorry if that's controversial. It's not controversial. What I'm saying is, we don't necessarily know whether he is or isn't. It just seems convenient for the powers that be that he, all of a sudden, should come under this scrutiny. I mean, let's be honest. People being dragged through the mud is not a new thing. It's been going on for a while. And a lot of people have been found guilty. Rolf Harris, Dave Lee Travis, you know, they've been convicted. They've been sent to prison. What's he called? The one who I shared a toilet with, which sounds wrong. Stuart Hall. He was. I was 11. It was fine. I must have been ugly though, because nothing happened. But yeah, no. It was when I was going to my secondary school. We had an open evening, and he attended that as a ambassador of it, and we both independently ended up in the toilet sharing the urinal together, and nothing happened. It was fine. But no, it seems convenient that, you know, now he's getting a bit loud and a bit recognised and a little bit more famous for his controversy rather than anything else. It does seem convenient to drag his name through the mud. Right, no worries, Angela. So yeah, I don't understand why, if he's such a bad person, he hasn't been dragged through the mud before, because it's quite popular at the moment to drag celebrities through the mud. I mean, look at, okay, not the same, but similar, Hugh Edwards and Philip Schofield and things like that. So it just seems that they are picking on him, rightly or wrongly, and it just seems convenient, in my opinion. I don't know whether he's done anything. I don't know the man. I've never met him. I've only seen him on TV. I don't go out my way to watch him. I've never watched him on YouTube. I've just heard people talk about him on YouTube. But it just feels that this is convenient for those people who don't like him and who he criticises. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but... And I think other people are going to end up being dragged under that as well, and I think various authorities are going to try and step on anyone who they feel is criticising them and making people aware of what they're actually doing. So I expect I'll be dragged under the bus next. No, I'm not that famous yet. I suppose if you are dragged under the bus, it means you've made it. Woo, look at me. I'm in trouble for doing something I've not done, but they're making it up as they go along. Yeah, fabulous. Fabulous, darling, fabulous. Anyway, that brings us to America. What's going on in America? Let's take a look at America. We're not covering gun crime again in America. No, because it takes too long. It just goes on forever. Biden, everyone's favourite president since... well, Biden. It's just America. You get yourself some decent politicians. I mean, I know that's pot kettle black with our lot, but still. Biden tells reporters, "I'm going to bed," at the end of a rambling Vietnam press conference. President Biden clamoured for a nap during a rambling 26-minute international press conference in Vietnam on Sunday that capped off his whirlwind trip of Asia. "I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed," Biden 80 jokingly said during a rambling response to a question about why he hasn't spoken to Chinese leader Xi Jinping. It's like, yeah, he needs a nap. We all need a nap in the afternoon. Sure, all was great on that game show, then we all found out the truth. Yeah, it's a knockout. River of wine flows through Portuguese town, triggering environmental warning. Warning, warning, warning. Wine being wasted. Wine being wasted. Warning, warning. Get a bottle. Get a bucket. Warning, warning, warning. Locals of a small town in the coastal coastal Portugal were left stunned when a river of red wine flowed through their streets after two tanks, which were carrying a whopping 600,000 gallons of the booze, suddenly gave way. A video posted online showed the red liquid rushing down a steep hill into the small town of Saint Larco de Barry. And yeah, it was amazing. And of course, the only song you could sing to that is "Red, red wine flows through my town. Get an empty bottle, baby. We're going to drown in wine. Red, red wine." Anyway, FBI director warns the number of Russian spies inside the US is still way too big. Yeah, but I bet they're not complaining about the number of American spies inside Russia, are they? No. I mean, come on. Lithium deposits found in US, McDermott caldera, may be world's largest. Oh, right, hang on a minute. So they've suddenly found lithium when they're pushing us down this route of all the cars in the world have got to be battery powered because battery is the only way forward, because we can't do green hydrogen, but we haven't got enough lithium. Oh, hang on a minute, look at this in America. We've now got the largest amount of lithium ever found in the world. Yes, a lithium deposit discovered in a volcanic crater along the Nevada-Oregon border may hold up to, wait for it, 40 million metric tons of the rare metal, possibly the largest ever in the world, which could have a massive impact on the electric vehicle industry. Yes, basically, America is going to get very rich from this because they're the ones who've been pushing all this electric car nonsense. And you're not telling me that they've only just discovered this lithium when it's like the most valuable thing on the planet. It's all a massive con. Or am I being a little bit... No, I'm not. It's absolute bull. And if people can't see this, it just baffles me. It just baffles me why people think that electric cars are the way forward. The only people making money out of this are the people who've found this mine and other countries that have got this kind of stuff. It's just nonsense. Lost hiker rescued after online bear cam captures him mouthing "help me." A hiker was lost in a remote Alaskan national park, and he was rescued after wildlife fans turned into a live feed from a bear cam and captured him distressed on the screen, mouthing the words "help me." So they all reported it. They knew where the camera was, so they flew a helicopter out and picked him up, and he lived happily ever after and said that the three bears were after him, but Goldilocks had gone to sort him out. Loch Ness Monster Watcher. I won the lottery with recent sighting. A long-time Loch Ness Monster sleuth says he won the lottery by recording new video of the mythical creature, possibly its 8th sighting this year. But some Nessie enthusiasts poo-pooed the footage. This picture belongs in an exhibition to do with the Loch Ness Monster, says Eon O'Fadahan, who recorded the moment. Recorded the moment to the Telegraph. I won the lottery with this video clip. Nah, absolute nonsense. It's a jet ski. How appropriate, found just at the right time. Yeah, you couldn't. It's amazing, isn't it? What's the chances of that? What's the chances? No, we don't need electric cars to get the emissions down. Right, Alan, this is a debate, you are right. We're going to debate it. Electric cars, for a start, you've got to build the factories, massive factories, all over the planet to make the batteries. You've then got to find the lithium, which, thankfully, America's found shitloads of. So brilliant. You've then got to ship it to the factories. You've then got to make all the individual batteries, which are about the size of a small microphone. You've then got to put them all together with all the chemicals inside that make them work. The chemicals that have got to be shipped all the way around the world. You've then got to wrap them in plastic. You've then got to put them in a car. You've then got to ship the car around the world. Then you've got to electrify the entire planet, which means we've got to find copper. There's not enough copper in the ground at the moment to carry the electricity from the power stations to charge all these cars that are coming. So we need to reintroduce or put new cabling in that's stronger and thicker, can take higher amounts of electricity passing through it, which then means we've got to dig up all the roads and then put these new cables in. Now these new cables are going to have copper in, so you're talking hundreds of thousands of millions of miles of copper. But hang on a minute, you've also got plastic around that to insulate it from another row of copper that goes around the outside, which is then also wrapped around in plastic, which is then wrapped around again in plastic and then put in a tube which is made out of plastic. And then it's got plastic put on top of it to warn people when they're digging down into the ground that this is an electric cable, do not put your drill or whatever through it. You've then got to re-tarmac it, which is oil producing stuff. You've then got to get the power stations to make this electricity to power the cars. And then, after a few years, as Dotty Ladies pointed out, the car batteries, as we know with our mobile phones, as we know with our controllers for our game consoles, as we know with e-cigarettes, as we know with everything that has rechargeable batteries, they don't last forever. So after 10 years, maybe less, depends how often you use it, you're going to have to recycle them batteries. How do you recycle them batteries? They are fucking huge. You can't recycle them. So they've got to be either disposed of safely, or they've got to be dismantled at great expense in factories that we're going to have to build. We're then going to have to put the contaminated liquids and metals and everything, and we're going to have to stick them somewhere where they're not going to damage the environment. Meanwhile, at a fraction of the cost, you've got hydrogen. Now, the majority of cars being built at the minute can run on various different fuels. They're just, the ECG, the computer on them, is programmed to work off petrol or diesel, depending which one vehicle you've got. That could be modified at moderate expense, I agree, to hydrogen. What you need to do is then build, instead of this massive infrastructure covering the entire planet, you convert the existing petrol stations we've already got into hydrogen petrol stations. So you might have to dig another couple of holes and put a couple of tanks in, but hydrogen is already available in tanks. So we can do that already. The problem you've got is we haven't got the amount of hydrogen being produced. And why is that? Because there's more money in all this lithium shit. That's why. There's not as much money in the hydrogen. But once you make enough hydrogen, you can then power all the cars in the planet much easier than the electric car nonsense. Plus, when the cars get scrapped, what's in there? Nothing. Bit of water. That's all that comes out of the exhaust. We'll probably get rusty exhaust. That might be a problem in the future. But other than that, that is the only waste we're going to get. But they're not doing that because they can't make enough money from it. It's all about making money. And it's all an absolute nonsense. It's when people say throw it away. But no, electric cars, and you can't have electric planes. Can you imagine an electric 777 or an electric Airbus trying to take off? You'd have like, you know, we've got enough power to lift the plane off, but we can only have one passenger, and that passenger's going to have to be the pilot. So we need hydrogen anyway. So we need to get Rolls-Royce, BMW, Toyota. What we say is, look, we've got Redcar, we've got Scunthorpe, we've got all these industrial areas in Britain which are wastelands and cannot be built on because they are contaminated by, you know, centuries of industry and all that kind of stuff. So we give them to these companies and say, right, there you go, work together, build a massive, similar to Ellesmere Port's complex to make green hydrogen. Once they've built that, it's then cheap, and off we go. It's just someone having the balls to say it. And the problem you've got is, no one in government anywhere in the world has got the balls to say all this. Which is why I'm probably going to get accused of doing something stupid like, I don't know, tickling a cow's arse or something, to discredit me. But no, it's absolute nonsense. Hi, Seaside Bandits, spot on, thank you. But no, the electric car phenomena is actually going to be worse in the long run for the world than just keeping petrol. Scary. But I admit that keeping petrol is, you can't do that either. But no, it's just robbing Peter to pay Paul whilst Billy and all the other rich bastards get richer. Anyway, see what you did there, Alan. I think you deliberately got me on that one then, because I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I think you deliberately wound me up. Rant over. A orangutan launches a possum out of its enclosure at the zoo. Sorry, shouldn't laugh. That's what I've just done. I've just literally thrown a possum, which is electric vehicles, out of this zoo that I call my What a Week That Was podcast thing. Anyway, yeah, it's a possum, and an orangutan threw it out. Now, possums are basically vermin in various countries, and this is Australia. So an orangutan at an Australian zoo horrified visitors when it brutally evicted a possum by launching it from the top of its enclosure after the wily pest had invaded its space. A viral video shows the critter hurtling through the air and vanishing from view after being pitched from a tall metal tower at Perth Zoo. Several people can be heard screaming in the background, with one exclaiming, "Oh my God!" But yeah. No, he's causing arguments. He's causing arguments, Alan. Alan is causing arguments. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Language as well. Got to be careful about language, you know. Biden deletes tweet thanking Vietnamese president with a photo of the wrong leader. Oh, Biden, the president that just keeps giving. President Biden thanked his Vietnamese counterpart on Monday in a since deleted tweet that erroneously featured the leader of the country's National Assembly. President Vutum Thong, thank you for such a productive meeting. This partnership is about unleashing our people's potential and, with it, a range of incredible possibilities, read the 80-year-old president's post on X. Yes, it's mighty scary that this guy is basically running the world. Missouri transgender clinic will no longer prescribe hormone drugs to minors due to state law. This is another contentious issue, but I will just say what I feel. It's up to you whether you agree or say no. Personally, I think anyone who offers or pressurizes anyone who's under the age of 18 into transgender treatment of any kind should be charged with child sexual abuse. Full stop. So any doctor that's done it, any hospital that has done it, any of these do-good idiots on TikTok and all that who pressurise people into doing it, the problem you've got is things, if you don't know who you are, if you're insecure about yourself, which we all are when we're teenagers, and you're not confident enough to be who you think you are, and you think you have to conform to someone else, and you've got these people going on about this, that and the other, a bit like that advert at the moment on the TV, where that young girl gets a phone for a Christmas when she's 12, and by the time she's 14, because she's been watching TikTok videos about to stay thin and all that, she's got a massive eating disorder, and she's in hospital from it, and then it shows her again at 19 when she's recovering, because of social media. This is exactly the same thing. Now, when I was, a teenager, punk was a thing. So one of my mates decided that he was this blonde-haired, blue-eyed young man, and he decided he was going to become a punk. So he had his hair shaved off, he had a Mohican, he had literally a pin through his nose, you can see the scab and everything, one through his nipple, ripped shirt, ripped school tie, ripped blazer, ripped pants, ripped everything. But if you met him now, you would never know necessarily that he was ever like that. That was just a fad he went through. This is not a fad. You're messing with people's hormones. You're messing with people's minds. This is not choosing to be a goth. This is not choosing to dress in black or to just wear pink or become Barbie. This is not that. This is more serious than that. And anyone who advises anyone before they're 18 years old and can make their own mind up is sexually grooming these people, and they are sexual predators. I don't care who you are, if you're a doctor, if you're one of these trans teacher things, if you're pressurising people into do this, you are a sexual predator. You are messing with people's sexuality. It is no different from a bloke sexually assaulting anyone, or a girl sexually assaulting anyone, or anything like that. It's absolute nonsense that anyone under the age of 18 should be given any kind of treatment or advice. You can give them advice to, wait till you're older, wait till you're sure, but once you start these treatments, hormone drugs to minors, once you've started that stuff, you've messed them up for the rest of their lives. It's absolute, it's just insane, and it's a fad. I don't know how many women watch this, or listen to this, but you might dye your hair blue one day and think, it looks great, and then a week later you think, well, actually it looks a bit crap. Well, I'll go back to my normal colour, or I'll go blonde, and then you realise that actually brunettes have more fun, or whatever. Or you're a bloke who decides that you're going to grow one of them stupid hipster beards, which thankfully seem to be disappearing now, and then you realise it's full of all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I agree, Dotty Lady, even 18 is too young, but you have to give people an option to be able to do this, and 18 you are considered an adult. But anything under 18 is sexual abuse, and there's no way around that. There's no way around that. Legally, you are not an adult until you're 18. So anywhere that prescribes anything or gives advice to people to become transgender under the age of 18 is a child sexual paedophile, full stop. And it is disgusting that people are allowed to do this. It's not wasting doctors' times. It's more a case of you're messing with their life. You know, you might be a lad and you can't get any girlfriends because they all think you smell or whatever. Okay, it's a bit close, that's what I was like. So you think, well, what am I? You know, the girls don't like me, so I must be gay then. Or you think, well, girls don't like me, so I'm, but boys don't like me, so I must be a girl. And your mind's messed up, your hormones are running all over the place. And then someone comes along and says, oh yeah, you're in the wrong body, you need to change. Absolutely no seaside. Moustaches are back in style. I don't suit one though, my facial hair is too light. You can always dye it. Stephen LFC. Kelly Jo Buxton, a big 27th birthday shout out. I've never done one of these before. Hey Kelly, hope you're having a great 27th birthday whenever it is. If it's today, tomorrow, whenever, I don't know. But yeah, have a good birthday and I'll see you again soon possibly. If not, bye. So there you go then. So yeah. That changed, didn't it? That's me talking about paedophiles. Next minute I'm shouting out a happy 27th birthday. But no, it's just ridiculous that, you know, that anyone is allowed to tell a child what to be and help them. It's just, no. It is. If you're messing with someone's sexuality, that's paedophilia. There's no way around it. It's their sexuality. You don't get that is sexual. If you're giving them hormones and stuff like that to change their sexuality, that is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is paedophilia. Goes without saying. Anyway, oh God, I'll tell you what, we've gone bing bong today. Oh my God, I've just seen this guy's name. Jesus. Now these are put together by the way the timeline they pop up in. I've not put this deliberately after the gender reassignment crap. No. Anyway, a New York researcher, Mark Dickey, rescued after spending 9 days trapped in a Turkish cave. Sorry. An American explorer from Westchester, counts it, it's a gift that just keeps giving. Westchester County, trapped in a Turkish cave for more than a week, was rescued. Officials announced Mark Dickey, who fell ill on September the 2nd, more than 3,000 feet below the entrance of the Morka cave in southern Turkey's Taras Mountain, was carried out on a stretcher and given first aid. Once rescues reached the surface, the Speleological Federation of Turkey said that he was in good hands. I've already covered that massively, Stephen. It's not the dog's fault. The dogs have been bred for a purpose of being a beast that looks mean and is mean, and it's a token thing like wearing a Rolex watch or something like that. And yeah, I've had a rant about it. I think they should all be destroyed, basically. But I'm not blaming the dogs, I'm blaming the breeders, I'm blaming the owners, but sadly I can't see another way of doing it, and I think we should ban all dogs that are part of the XL as well. They're on about maybe registering them, putting muzzles on them, that kind of thing. It's not going to help, unfortunately. So yeah, we're all over the place. Talking of which, yay! Biden claims he was at ground zero the day after 9/11, but his own book that he wrote, put him in DC. President Biden said that he was at the World Trade Center in New York City one day after the 9/11 attacks, despite his own autobiography placing him in Washington DC. The 80-year-old president also claimed he saw the fireball caused by the plane that struck the Pentagon in North Virginia from Washington's Union Station, when his own book said he merely saw a brown haze of light. No worries, Dotty Lady, you take care, look after yourself, and bob in shop next time you're in town. We'll have a chat. Internet sceptical of mummified alien corpses for resembling E.T. Oh, no. I've never seen E.T., never want to watch E.T., I have no interest in E.T. whatsoever. And when I say I've never seen E.T., people go, what? But yeah, time to phone home. The dramatic presentation of supposed non-human alien corpses is being taken far less seriously online than it was in Mexico's Congress, with many sceptical over the uncanny likeness to the famous movie Extraterrestrial. So the Mexicans discover a 1,000-year-old mummy which supposedly is an alien, but it actually looks like E.T. So yes, hilarious. Hacked Houston construction sign tells drivers to go yourself. If you can't take the heat, get out of Houston. A hacked electronic construction sign at a busy Houston street corner left drivers gawking with its strongly worded warning: due to weather, gawk yourselves. The shocking message, splayed across a changing screen at a corner of the city's west side, quickly took off online as stunned Houstonians who caught a glimpse of the aggressive display looked to see if they'd actually read it right. I mean, I don't know about the weather yourself. Maybe tell the weather to do that. Spotless giraffes spotted in Namibia, believed to be the world's second. I'm sure we had a spotless giraffe story a couple of weeks ago, and that was in a zoo. So maybe it's a new species. Putin's constant leg twitching during Kim Jong-un meeting reignites health speculation. Video from Vladimir Putin's closely watched meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Russia on Wednesday showed the Russian president continuously twisting his foot, sparking new round of speculation about the state of his health. Well, some people reckon it's not even him, so we'll come to that later. Where are we up to? Giraffe Putin, there we go. Wandering bull moose captured in downtown Santa Fe moved to habitat in northern New Mexico. A wandering bull moose was captured in downtown Santa Fe and relocated to a suitable habitat in northern New Mexico. State game and fish officials and animal service officers for the city said the moose was spotted around 8 a.m. Officers set up a perimeter to protect residents and pedestrians in the park, and then managed to get it into the container and take it somewhere safe so it could live its life out happily ever after, which is a nice story, because normally in America they just shoot them, don't they? Seen that man protesting to see his kids at the side of the road in Skelmersdale? No, I haven't. I've not been up Skelmersdale for a while, Stephen, unfortunately. Ukraine takes credit for missile attack on key Crimean ports. Ukraine unleashed a barrage of missiles and attacked boats on a strategic Russian naval port in the annexed Crimean city of Sevastopol early on Wednesday, injuring dozens and making it the largest apparent attack in the Black Sea Fleet since the start of Russia's unprovoked war. Which is good to see. Nice to see that Ukraine are stepping up the actions. Paranoid Putin uses bodyguard to operate washing machine. An ex-security guard, ex-security officer says. You can't imagine President Putin actually using a washing machine, full stop. So why is that news? Like, you can't imagine the king putting in his dirty boxer shorts in the washing machine and saying, Kim, darling, have you got anything else to put in here? It's a whitewash. A bit like what the government are trying to do with the people. But yeah, it just seems very weird. Russian President Vladimir Putin is so paranoid about being assassinated that he does not allow anyone but one of his bodyguards to use washing machines at his residence in Crimea. He also employs armed drivers to scour the divers to scour the waters around his private beaches for possible threats. Well, it's not surprising. I mean, the guy's a complete nutter. He's off his head. And he's a multi-millionaire, so he's not going to do his own washing, and he's obviously frightened of people trying to kill him. Duh. UFO experts display supposed non-human alien corpse in Mexico's Congress. Well, don't know about you. I'm convinced. Any resemblance to the prototype for ET is purely coincidental. Mexican politicians were shown two mummified corpses this week that a UFO expert claimed are clear demonstration of non-human aliens. The two bodies, with only 3 fingers on each hand and elongated ET-style heads, were displayed in window boxes on Tuesday for a public congressional hearing on identified anomalous phenomenon, UAPs, which is the new name for UFO. The corpses are between 700 and 1,800 years old. And the thing is, let's be honest here, someone pointed this out to me. If you should do a whole stream of your impressions. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. If they, you know, no, I'm not even going to say it. It's just pathetic. It's not even worth my time on that one. I'm sorry. I'll come back to it though. Don't worry. Putin welcomes Kim Jong-un at Cosmodrome for meeting that shows how leaders are coming together. That's too much information. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un arrived at a Cosmodrome in Russia's Far East on Wednesday for a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin that underscores how the two leaders' interests are aligning in the face of their separate, intensifying confrontations with the United States. Putin welcomed Kim at the entrance to a launch vehicle assembly building, and then they wandered around and looked at each other's big rockets. My rocket's bigger than your rocket, says Kim Jong-un. Well, my rocket actually gets somewhere, says Putin. Tennessee man pleads guilty to threatening Little Caesar worker with AK-47 over a wait for pizza. Now, I said I wasn't going to do gun crime, but I'll be honest with you, that seems legitimate. An AK-47 because you had to wait for your pizza, fine with that, seems reasonable. A mysterious yellow line on Interstate 95 in Florida confuses motorists and cars with driver assistance tech. I don't think you'll be able to see that, but oh yeah, you can. But look there, there's a yellow line going down, and that yellow line is confusing cars that think that that is the lane, so it's drifting them across. But if you're a driver and you're getting confused by that, then you shouldn't be driving. Mind you, it's America. Yeah. You're on form this week. I wasn't on form last week, so I'm trying to make up for it this week. Toilets. UK museums handed a 44-page guidebook on how to be more trans-friendly. You see the middle one there. UK museums have been handed a new 44-page set of guidelines on how to offer a more inclusive experience for transgender children. Museums should be places not just where these kids go, but where they want to go. The new trans inclusive culture guidelines read, simple signs to support speak volumes. This booklet, published by the University of Leicester, is designed to encourage museums to help children. No, children should not be thinking about being trans. I'm sorry. They are too young. And then you're encouraging them. So now the museums are being guilty. And certainly the University of Leicester. These people should not be allowed out. A dump truck driver fatally plunges hundreds of feet into water pit on the job. Sadly, it was just being a truck driver, the job. A dump truck driver fatally plunged hundreds of feet into a water-filled rock pit in Indiana on Tuesday after his several-ton vehicle slipped near the edge of a quarry site, according to officials. The unidentified worker's body was found by divers at least 20 feet below the surface in rural Crawford County, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources said in a news release. There's a hospital in Scotland that has one of these toilets, no matter gender. Why don't the trans just use the disabled toilet? Because they would then say you're classing them as being disabled. I can't believe you did that, Stephen. Unbelievable. What kind of horrendous person are you? Unbelievable. So you just get offended about everything. If you're going to do it, just do a trans toilet. Just say, right, trans toilet or a trans cubicle, bish bash bosh, off you go, done. Maybe a baby changing. Maybe use a baby changing one rather than disabled. took a dump with him. He probably had one on the way down as well, unfortunately. Sad story. Florida man causes $2 million in damage with hot-wired excavator as he crashes into a Walmart. Now, if I had a excavator and I'd hot-wired it, the last thing I'd do is crash it into something like a Walmart. I'd do something that was worth crashing into, like, I don't know, a jewellery shop or something. A machete-armed Florida man stole an excavator and went on a joyride throughout Gainesville Monday night, crashing into several buildings, including a Walmart, and causing roughly $2 million in damages. Jesse Smith, not Jesse Jones, was arrested after he allegedly stole the yellow Comasoto excavator valued at $350,000 and drove it down several roads, knocking into buildings, fences and light poles. It's a bit like that guy, remember years ago, in the tank, who was driving down the street at full pelt and just knocking everything down and driving over cars and everything. And eventually got stuck on the central reservation, and the police got in and just shot him whilst he was still inside the vehicle, even though he couldn't go anywhere. Red fire ants, one of the world's most invasive species, storm Europe. We knew this day would come. It's a multi-ant takeover. Oh, it's a militant takeover. See what they did there? Red fire ants have finally made the pilgrimage to Europe and are threatening to take over the continent, according to a new study. The tiny insects, considered one of the world's most invasive species, established at least 88 nests across 12 acres near the city of Syracuse in Sicily. The sighting marks the first time the bugs have been seen on the European mainland. So be warned, they are taking over the world. Colorado man wins $5 million on a lottery jackpot and he buys a watermelon. Right, okay. I imagine he bought a bit more than a watermelon, but let's go with it. Who wants to be a millionaire? Ah, that's why they wrote it. Yep, okay. A 77-year-old Colorado man won more than $5 million last week, and the first thing he decided to purchase was a watermelon and flowers for his wife. Waldemar Bud T, an avid outdoorsman from Montrose, had been away on a hiking trip through the Holy Cross Wilderness with his golden retriever when the winning Colorado Lottery Plus jackpot digits were drawn. When he returned home, he bought a watermelon and some flowers for his wife. Aww. Who says romance is dead? Aww. Aww. It warms the cockles of your eyes. A New Mexico judge blocks Democrat governor's attempt to suspend gun rights. Yes, that's right. A federal judge temporarily blocked New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grimshaw's emergency order suspending the right to carry firearms in public in Albuquerque and the surrounding county. The Democratic governor's September the 8th directive sought to ban the concealed and open carrying of firearms in New Mexico's most populous metro area for 30 days on public health grounds in response to recent gun crimes. But of course, the federal judges are all in the pockets of the NRA. So therefore, no, it's not happening. You can still carry your guns, you can still go around killing people because it's fine. But it will get hammered by tax on it, yeah, on your watermelon. South Korea expresses concern and regret over military cooperation talks between Kim and Putin. South Korea on Thursday expressed deep concern and regret over a meeting between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russia's President Putin that apparently focused on expanding military cooperation as the two isolated nuclear-armed leaders align over their escalating confrontations with the United States. Obviously it's the United States publication I'm getting these from, ergo it's very pro-United States. I'm not quite as pro. Hunter Biden lines up for 3 pizza with his son on Bo a day before indictment. A slice of pizza followed by a slice of justice. First son Hunter Biden dutifully lined up for a complimentary Wednesday evening hours. Federal prosecutions indicted him in Delaware on charges relating to the 53-year-old lying about being addicted to crack cocaine when he bought a gun in 2018. Basically, Hunter Biden seems to be a bad one. And his dad, as you do, is protecting. The problem is his dad is the President of the United States of America. Alex Jones pays own wife $15,000 a month as Sandy Hook families are yet to see a dime from him. Now, people saying I'm turning into Alex Jones. Alex Jones. I am not turning into Alex Jones. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I merely spout facts. I merely spout my opinions on things. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. Hunter Biden is the eldest son of Joe Biden, and he's a bad one. He seems to be more corrupt than most American politicians. Alex Jones' personal spending is frustrating families who are trying to collect on the $1.5 billion in judgments against him for calling the 2012 Sandy Hook elementary school shootings a hoax. Just get that again. Just listen. Did you miss that? The Sandy Hook elementary school shootings. Do you remember them? Where those poor little kiddies, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and their teachers were slaughtered by a gunman in their own school where they should have been safe, was in 2012, 11 years ago. What? So the surviving children for that will be mid-teens now, getting ready to go to college. Like, what the hell? Time is so scary. Anyway, he called it a shooting a hoax because he's an absolute nutter. The conspiracy theorist and InfoWars host has been paying his own wife, though, Erica Wolf Jones, $15,000 a month, according to the most recent spending report he filed in his bankruptcy case. So he's technically bankrupt, so he doesn't have to pay anyone anything, but he's still managing to pay his wife $15,000 a month. I don't think, if you're doing that every month, you ain't bankrupt. I ain't an expert on these things, but I think that'd be the truth. Oh, I've just done that one. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm repeating myself. There he is. Yeah, let's get this little young lad on. A 2-year-old accidentally swallows 8 needles. I was focused on my work. A child swallowing something dangerous is every parent's nightmare. Luckily for mum, Narly Pesco from Peru, her 2-year-old son is okay after he accidentally swallowed needles on the farm where Pisco works. The boy was rushed last week from the farm to the province of Marsicol Carries Hospital and had life-saving surgery. An x-ray of his abdomen revealed 8 needles in his stomach. How the hell they got out of his mouth? I haven't got a clue. But yeah, his mum was busy at work and didn't notice him swallowing 8 needles. Yeah, I don't know. Hunter Biden hit with new indictment on federal gun charges. So this is, first son Hunter Biden. Hiya Prim Travels, your sound is too low. People have been complaining my sound is too high. What can you do, eh? No, it's up to, it's roughly right. If I look away, it goes away, and then if I look back, it goes up. So no, it's about right. Because I have this sound on when I'm playing games, and I've got the game noise in the background as well. Anyway, doesn't matter. Where am I up to? Oh, I've lost my place. Oh yeah, Hunter Biden. He's a bad one. Anyway, basically, he's a bit of a crook, allegedly. Nah, he's a crook. And he's lied about being on crack cocaine when he got a gun licence, because obviously you're not allowed to do that. But let's be honest, they've let off Prince Harry for admitting he's done crack cocaine and other drugs, and he's allowed to go and live in the country. Andrew Rogers, hello. A woman who transitioned at 16 sues doctors who gave her a double mastectomy. A Minnesota woman has decided to detransition from transgender male, and she's suing the doctors who performed a double mastectomy on her when she was just 16. Luca Hans, now 21, claims she was going through a tough time emotionally as a teenager when her parents were getting divorced and when she was being groomed online by a man from another state. As she struggled with her mental health, she was basically convinced into having double mastectomy. Okay, just compared to other streams. Sorry. Oh, you're alright, Prim, don't worry about it. Great stream, mate. Aye, thanks, Tetty. I do get a little bit tetchy. You have massive ears. What I think I'm doing is getting a green t-shirt and get rid of all this. So, I'll do that, Andrew Rogers. Is that the Andrew Rogers I know, or is that just a random Andrew Rogers who I don't know? Meanwhile, NASA's new telescope just made the biggest discovery of the century. No, it didn't. NASA's James Webb telescope might have made what one expert is calling the discovery of the century. About 744 trillion miles from Earth, a team of international astronomers have found potential evidence of possibly life in the atmosphere of another world, maybe and possibly. That is not the biggest thing ever, and I'm sure this century is quite young at the minute. We're only 23 years into it. Ergo, there's still over 75 years left. I'm sure there's going to be more important discoveries long after I've shuffled off. Oh, another transit piece where totally different news there. NASA appoints first UFO director, admits they don't know what a UAP is. It's an ultra-aged pensioner. The truth is still out there. NASA announced that it has appointed its first ever director of UFO, stressing that they've yet to find proof of alien spacecraft, while conceding they still have no idea what the mysterious objects actually are. The Space Agency released the findings of a year-long independent study in UFOs on Thursday in a 33-page report, and cautioned that the negative perception surrounding UFOs is false. But they don't know what UFOs are, but they don't exist, but they do exist, but we don't know what they are, so therefore they don't exist. But we do see them, so we know they exist, but we're not telling you what they are because we don't know they exist, although obviously they do exist because we found life in other countries. I saw a UFO the other day. It was mad. Unidentified apple. Guard up. US expert rips Mexican unveiling of supposed non-human alien corpses as an unsubstantiated stunt. No poo Sherlock. I mean, look at the size of it. It looks quite big until you see it next to a human. It's a bit like, if you've ever seen the TV show, I don't know if it was in the movie now because I never watched the movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but they did it very well. It was in the book as well, so if you've read the book or listened to the audio book, you'll get it. But basically, there's this massive alien force coming to Earth to invade Earth, and they're going to destroy all life on Earth and everything. But when they get to Earth, after travelling for centuries and so many different generations of this alien on these spaceships, they get swallowed by a dog because they completely miscalculated the size of the planet. Well, yeah, maybe these are the aliens off that, but no, it's just an absolute nonsense. But we'll find out what's going on with that later on. Well, maybe not, but it's certainly absolute nonsense. Now, we were talking earlier on about suicides and things like that, particularly in Russia, where men, particularly people who've upset Vladimir Putin, seem to accidentally or deliberately fall out of hotel windows to their death. Or they shoot themselves 3 times in the head in a suicide. It's no better in America. Imagine being the family of this person, and basically this person has been stabbed multiple times. You will see a drawing, it's not too graphic, don't worry, a drawing of where the stab wounds were with a knife depicting each one of them. There's 20 odd of them. And what did the coroner say? A death of Philly teacher found with 20 stab wounds ruled suicide. Yeah, I can see that. Absolute suicide. Yeah, they were found dead in 2011, sorry, with 20 stab wounds, and she had killed herself, but they slammed the police investigation as deeply flawed. The family of Ellen Greenberg, 27, have fought for more than a decade to overturn the city's ruling that the teacher's death, whose corpse was riddled with stab wounds, was suicide. I'll tell you what, that alien looks like it's got thumbprints in it. What would you do if an alien came to you and gave you crazy information? I don't know, I'd say it was being a bit cheesy. Cheesy gamer. Anyway, so yeah, we've got a few new people on today, so welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, etc, etc, etc. I say that doesn't make any difference, I'll be honest, but you know, it's just what you're saying it. 9,100 migrants cross from Mexico to Arizona in one day. Cartels control the border. The border crisis keeps getting more shocking, with 9,100 migrants encountered in a single day this week, according to Border Patrol sources, close to the record-setting 10,000 a day figures experienced in May. Yeah, basically, it feels now that the world is being diluted into one people, and it's people above our pay grades, basically getting people from poorer countries to integrate with richer countries, to take away the country's individuality and their thoughts and everything else, and therefore make it easy to control people in the future. Or am I being a conspiracy theorist again? Not sure about this one. So basically, you know, if we had a world war again, then in 50 years' time, then how many people would feel themselves to be British enough to actually fight for Britain? Or would the population's Britishness be diluted? I'm not being racist in any stretch of the imagination. This is a bigger thing than racist. What I'm saying is, it does feel like we are being massaged into accepting many people into our society. We don't know who they are. We don't know whether they're good, bad, evil, perverted, terrorists, rapists, whatever. We've no idea who these people are, but we're expected to integrate with them, and then they're expected to become part of the community, and it's never going to work. So we've got all these divisions. We've had Pakistanis, for example, who've been in the UK for 40, 50, 60 years, and you can tell where they live because they live in groups of communities. Now, I'm not dissing the Pakistanis in any way, shape or form. They built mosques there, which is fine, that's their religion, that's what they're entitled to do, but they've not integrated with society. After all these years, they are still in groups of Pakistanis. You've also got the Chinese communities, you've got the Jewish communities, you've got other communities that have been around for decades that are not fully integrated into the way that the country works. And we're now importing people, legally or illegally or deliberately, from different countries. America's got the problem, the UK, Europe's got the problem as well, and it feels like they are diminishing the traits that make a country the country. And it is worrying that that's what they're doing. And like I say, if there is a war in the future, and you know we go to war against a Middle Eastern country, are these people going to fight for us, or are they going to fight for the country that they're from, if that's the country we're against? It just seems very strange. Are you agreeing with me or disagreeing with me, Cat? What are you doing now? Oh, I don't know. The cat's in the room, she's doing stuff. But it just feels like we are being, as a world, we're being diluted into being, I don't know, cappuccino coffee. Something, I don't know what the analogy is, rather than having individualities. And I think what makes the world great is the fact that we've got individualities. You go to different countries and you experience different cultures and different things like that, and I think that's been eroded, and I think it's all part of a bigger picture that in 50 years, 100 years time, whatever, people will come along and say, right, we're now at war with such a thing, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that and do the other, who's with us, come and fight for us, and all that kind of thing. And we're going to have split loyalties, shall we say. I mean, you kind of get that to a degree when India play cricket at Lords or whatever, or Pakistan play cricket or other sports, and you get these Pakistani English or Indian English who go and they're supporting their country of origin. Now, it's sport, doesn't really matter too much, but if this was a war or something like that, it would be tricky. And I'm not saying we're going to go to war, and I'm not saying that humans would fight in future wars, I don't know. But it just feels like we've got people coming along who are pulling strings that we're not aware there's even strings to be pulled, and no one's seeing it. And it's like, am I seeing it, or am I just being a nutter? Am I turning into a Alex, whatever the idiot's called? I don't quite get my thoughts and how it works, but I do know there is something wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. What we need is politicians who've got balls for a start and can say no to these people who are doing all this. For example, migration. You come over on a boat with no documents, you go straight back to France. We're not messing around here. We're not putting you up in a hotel. We're not making people lose their jobs. We're putting you straight back on a boat or on a plane, and we're dropping you off in France. If France object, fine. We'll charge France €10,000 for every person we send back. So we might get some of them billions back we paid them to stop these people coming over in the first place. If you've got a legal reason to come over here, so for example, say you've got a family in Libya where this horrible, horrendous water flooding things occurred, and you've got young children and all that kind of thing, and you can't live there because it's unsafe, you've got no family there or whatever, then fair enough, you can come over here for a little while, get yourself settled, while the country sorts itself out, and then you can go back again, like we've done with Ukraine. Yeah, it's just scary that that's where we're at. Welcome back, Annie. You're not dead. Ooh. And he's back, folks. He's back. Guess who's back? Hey, Deno. Hey, Deno's mum. Hope you're good as well. But anyway, that's my rant on... yeah, don't ask me what a woman is, though, because that'll just get you angry. New York City officials blindsided sleepy SI neighbourhood by opening a 300-person migrant shelter that poses unreasonable public nuisance. New York City officials blindsided a sleepy Staten Island neighbourhood by opening up a 300-person migrant shelter at the site of a former Catholic school, where the scent of raw sewage now wafts onto the home next door. Yeah, so basically it's all over the world. Yes, because not pulling our weight as a country is a totally great way for a country to move forwards. I think we'll agree to this on this one. Prim. We can't keep taking people in who we don't know who they are. They are murderers. They are rapists. There are child offenders, sex offenders. There are terrorists. There are army people coming over on these boats. And there are some nice people coming over as well. Don't get me wrong. But we don't know who's who. So why the hell are we letting them live in hotels, 4-star hotels, while our former veterans are on the streets, while they can come in and out? It's just awful. What's a woman? A woman is a human who, well, any female, is a human who produces eggs which are capable of becoming another human when fertilised with sperm from a man who produces sperm. Right, next up. You can go down the trans route if you want, that's fine, but you're still a man or a woman, whatever you were born with. But if you want to be trans, that's fine. As long as you're over 18, don't have a problem with it. Anything under 18, and that is child sexual abuse, paedophilia, as far as I'm concerned. If people are convincing people to change their sexuality before the age of 18, that is child sex abuse, which is paedophilia. Full stop. But I've done a good rant about that earlier on, so you can go back and watch that one. I know you'll love it. I always wonder what a shelter is. One of them awnings you pull down from a wall. Don't ask for this. It's good to be back. It was good to have you back. I have my gloves to a veteran in Liverpool 2 years ago. I have no idea what's going on. A cosmic crater probed by Irish TV revealed to be just a hole dug by 2 lads on a beach with a spade. And thank God we got something light-hearted. It's been very deep today, hasn't it? An Irish television station broadcast a news segment about a mysterious crater discovered at a local beach, suggesting it could be evidence of a once-in-a-lifetime cosmic event. But the station needed to correct, of course, 1 day later, and reported in a follow-up segment that the so-called cosmic crater was just a hole some folks dug in the sand the day before. And our PM thinks that the UK can take another 1,000 immigration in the next few years. No, it's not our PM. It's Keir Starmer who thinks we can take 100,000, up to 100,000 every year. Every year. The guy's got no idea what's going on. He's no better than Joe Biden and Donald Trump, except he hasn't got any balls. But yeah, a hole in the ground. No worries, Deno. You take care. 1-year-old dead, 3 others hospitalised after possibly consuming fentanyl at a Bronx daycare. 1 child is dead and 300 have been hospitalised after possibly consuming fentanyl at a Bronx daycare centre on Friday, according to police sources. A 1-year-old boy was declared dead at the scene. 1 child is dead and 3 others have been hospitalised after consuming what they thought were sweets. Turned out to be fentanyl. And that's a daycare centre. Awful. There is life after death. Revived patients share out-of-body experiences in startling New York University reports. It's not a deathbed myth. Our lives really do flash before our eyes when we die, according to a new report from the New York University. I remember seeing my dad, said one patient after flatlining. I caught a glimpse of my life and felt pride, love, joy, sadness, all pouring into me, recalled another one after being pulled back from the brink. So no, it's just basically your life flashes before your eyes, which is what you do when you panic. When you panic, if you think you're going to die, if you're going to have a car crash and there's nothing you do about it, the first thing you think about is your family and the people you love. It's not life after the death, it's just your brain trying to console yourself and worry about the people that you're going to leave behind because you think you're about to die or you flatline. I'm sorry, when you're dead, you're dead. Okay, puberty blockers are proven and reversible. I don't know why you came at me with that comment. Because we were talking about where? Oh, it's a long way up here. Yes, because pulling our weight as a country is a totally great way for a country to move forwards. I don't understand what the problem was with that, because you were saying that we're not pulling our weight by sending them back, and I'm saying no, we pull our weight by sending them back. It doesn't matter, Prim. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Puberty blockers should not be given to children. That is child sex abuse. Full stop. There's no question about that. And anyone who recommends that is a paedophile. Doctor, social workers, teachers. You're messing with people's sexuality. You're messing with people's sexual organs. What's the difference between that and fiddling with them? Nothing. It's worse, in fact. If people think puberty blockers are a legal thing or suitable for anyone, I'm sorry, they are not. I'm not saying that people don't have mental health issues, they do, but puberty blockers is not the answer. They can decide that when they go. I don't know if the Sunny Castle. Alright, okay. Biden's gaff-tastic week, more than a dozen lies and bumbles. Rare is the day that Joe Biden doesn't tell a lie or garbled sentences, but even by his standards this week was a mess, featuring ramblings in Vietnam, fibs about where he was around 9/11, claims he taught Ivy Leaguers a political theory, and more. The horror show kicked off in Hanoi, Vietnam on Sunday when the 80-year-old Commander-in-Chief began a press conference by forgetting that a classic Robin Williams film was, a film. Yeah. It doesn't give children a chance. You're taking away the child's chance of becoming what they are born to be. Puberty blockers are... Oh, God. Puberty blockers, the people will look back on this in years to come. It's not reversible. If you mess with someone through puberty, you can't go through puberty when you're 27. You've already passed that. You've been blocked from doing it. It's not reversible. It's dangerous. That's going to mess with people's heads more. Like this poor person who's trying to transition. Vasha Hassan, what the hell's that? You don't need to read papers. You've just got to have a brain. If you look at someone who is a boy or a girl and they are 11 and 12 and they are about to go through puberty and you give them drugs that stops them going through puberty, that is child abuse. You do not need to go anywhere to know that. If you think that that is right and that is normal, you are not right in the head. You are a perverted person. I'm sorry, but perverts mess with people. And if you're genuinely giving people deliberately to alter their biology or stop their biology from developing naturally, you are a child abuser. There is no excuse, none whatsoever. And I'm sorry if that upsets you, but that is my opinion. You are welcome to your opinion, but there's only going to be one person going to prison in the future when people realise what's going on, and that's the people who've done this to children, not the people who've said don't do it. So you literally stream on YouTube, and I say 2 main left-wing creators on the platform, and you've not read these videos. No, I don't watch other people on YouTube. I come up with my own opinions. I am not led by people. I am not brainwashed by people. Oh, Deno's trying to bring it back. Biden can hardly move his face. Yeah, it's not the only thing he can't move. To be fair, Prim, sorry, I'm actually enjoying this debate because we're actually having someone who's disagreeing and we're having a debate about it. And that is good, and I'm enjoying this in that respect. It's something we don't often get on here. So your opinion is more than welcome. It's just that I completely disagree with your opinion. But I'm entitled to my opinion as well. I've never claimed to know anything. I'm putting my opinion forward. And my opinion is that if you are a bully who decides that children need blockers for their puberty, you are a paedophile sexual abuser. That's my opinion. I've come up with that myself. I'm allowed to express that opinion. And you're allowed to disagree with it, and that is fine. But as history looks back on this, it's going to be hopefully people like me who were right, and look back on with like, yep, that was good. You said the right thing. And the people who were doing all this, who were the nonsense people. I don't dislike you for your abuse. It's all right, Angela. Don't worry. You're fine. It's. But no, this is, yeah, welcome back, Annie. You've come back on the, on this. But no, it's, I have strong views on things. I've been doing this for quite a while. Okay, I don't have the followings of the people you've mentioned, but I don't necessarily want the followings of the people I mentioned. It's not about that. It's about being able to offer alternative opinions on things, rather than what everyone says, because you get a lot of people, well, I'll be dead anyway, so it won't matter. As will you, as will everyone else. But no, I'm trying to protect the people here now. I mean, I'm not one of these people who think, looking back, 50 years to people who are abusing people and doing stuff is helping the kids of today. We should be helping the kids of today. And the kids of today have not only got your equivalent of your Jimmy Saviles and your other people like that, but they've also got this added pressure of being told what sexuality they are because they've come up with they've expressed an opinion or something, like a girl likes playing football. Oh, you've got to be a boy then. Or a boy likes wearing princess dresses. Well, you're obviously a girl. No. And they can be who they want to be. But you can't meddle with their DNA, well, not the DNA, but with their hormones. You can't meddle with them. They have to decide that themselves when they're old enough to do so. And anyone who says that they are not, that they should have blockers, puberty blockers, is wrong. To be fair, Prim is keeping it respectful. No, like I say, Prim, I have no problem with you at all. It's good that we're having a conversation about it. And, after this, I might think, actually, maybe I have a slightly more moderate opinion on it. But at the moment, I have a very strong opinion on it. What am I saying that's dangerous? No, Prim. I'm not by saying don't give someone drugs that alters their puberty. How is that dangerous? Giving people drugs that alter their puberty is dangerous. Not giving them is not dangerous. Plus, I have no influence on anyone. I am not the Prime Minister. I'm not a respected YouTuber. I am not a TikTok influencer. I am just me on my little channel with a few people having a chat. I am not influencing people. But by not giving someone something that messes with their hormones is not dangerous. Giving something that messes with their hormones is dangerous. So therefore, I'm being the anti-dangerous. So you're saying it's dangerous not to give people hormone treatments. But it's not the same as a child with eye conditions. Seriously, that is not the same. Nor is it the same. If you break your arm, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. If a child needs a blood transfusion, give them a blood transfusion. If that's going to save their life, 100%, give it them. Don't even blink, just do it. Put their arm in plaster, give them painkillers. They've got something in their eye, they've got an eye infection, give them antibiotics. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't mess with the hormones, it's not messing with the genitalia. So saying that we treat trans children on the same concept we treat children with an eye condition shows, respectfully, your lack of understanding of how serious this is. Oh, have you been on an enforced holiday, Annie? Anyway, shall we move on? School purges books published before 2008 in illogical inclusivity push, which is another thing I really hate. With no doubt me and Prim will have an argument about this now. We've moved on, Prim. We'll agree to disagree. We've kept it respectful, we've been polite to each other, and we've put our points across. And I think that was quite a good little debate then we had. And I would appreciate if you came back again to the channel and joined in other chats that we have about other things as well, because it's nice to have someone not just say, yeah, I agree with everything you say. I mean, I don't have people saying that all the time. I do have people who have discussions with me, but that's possibly the longest one I've had in the time I've been doing this, and it is appreciated. And like you say, with no personal insults were thrown there. We know a child has issues with their identity, so we treat that condition with blockers so they can make the decision at 18. Okay, so that's your opinion. My opinion is the polar opposite. I agree about they can make the decision at 18, but I don't think you should stop a child developing naturally. But that's another thing. I'm not being funny, but I actually thought like the worst punishment was that Snork wouldn't know where I was. That's my old name from my previous life, Snork. I'm not getting into that now because it's very complicated. But yeah, they're censoring books. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like saying, oh, you know, this statue is of someone who had a cotton mill in the town, and cotton was picked by slaves, so therefore we need to take the statue down. I mean, it's utter nonsense. The guy's been dead 200 years. He don't care whether you have a touch. Got the book from. Oh God. It doesn't care whether or not the statue is took down because he doesn't exist anymore. He ceased to exist. So what you do is you teach people, look, this guy here made lots of money for the town. He built mills, he built the houses you can see, he built the library, he built the swimming baths and all that kind of stuff. However, he did it on the back indirectly of slavery, or directly of slavery. Therefore, although the people of the time and we still benefit from what he did, we have to remember it's from things that we no longer do and we can't condone, and therefore, you know, with the statue still there, but it'll have a plaque on it saying, you know, this gentleman was we need all the original books, keeping safe with all the original writing. Yeah, until your common sense comes back again. Missouri pastor under fire after preaching autism is caused by the devil. Because God doesn't make junk. Seems level-headed. Okay, just last point about the trans stuff. As I said, it was dangerous because you could have parents here who have trans youth. If you spout this uneducated beliefs, that's dangerous. You have value, your content matters. Right, okay. Thank you. But I don't have any parents here who have trans youth, because I know near enough everyone on this channel. And if people bob in and out, they normally only stay for about 20 seconds because they see some middle-aged white guy who's the least trendy thing in the world talking about news, so they bugger off. Like Total Biscuit used to say, if you're going to produce content, do it right. I do it right. I think you'll find actually most people here have agreed on my side of it, but to be fair, they are slightly biased because they are my followers. But you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I'd still think that in future days to come, in future years to come, people who've been messing with people's hormones will be dragged in front of courts, and rightly so, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Also, censorship of books. Don't wait. Yeah, we agree on something, Prim. Hey, I knew we'd find something in common at some point. What about pastors who talk crap? The pastor of Missouri church landed himself in hot water after preaching that autism is caused by demonic powers, insisting parents should just call the demon out to cure their children. I mean, talk about dangerous, Prim. You know, what I'm saying is, I don't think we should give people hormone-altering drugs before they're a certain age. This guy's saying that if you've got a autistic child, you need to cast the demon out. I think that's more dangerous. I'm ready to be in that court. Fair enough. Meanwhile, Trump says it's very, very unlikely. Oh, that was more Prince Charles. Very unlikely he will pardon himself if he wins the 2024 election. I mean, anything that he says is very unlikely is likely, let's be honest. But yeah, the story goes, if he gets convicted and ends up in prison, but still gets elected as president, he can then pardon any prisoners. And him being a prisoner or being convicted, he can quash his own stuff and things. So yeah, there you go. But he said it's very unlikely. I'm not saying I won't do it, but it's very unlikely. Hawaii officials say DNA tests drop Maui wildfire deaths count to 97, which is good news. Although obviously the world's moved on since the Maui fires. But yeah, they thought 115 had died, but it seems that some of the tests have been done multiple times. So it's actually 97 individuals now. As long as you didn't say I made you get involved in cars, then that's fine. Arizona homeowner shocked to find 20 rattlesnakes living in a garage. This is crazy. An Arizona homeowner received the shock of a lifetime when he found he had 20 rattlesnakes, including 50 baby serpents, slithering around in his garage. To be fair, if 15 of them are babies, it's not really that surprising then, is it? I thought it was a better story than that. I was going to watch this news about Russell Brand, but I'm now addicted to this. Hope you don't mind a lefty in the chat. No, you're fine. Absolutely fine. You're addicted to this. That's worrying. No, I never thought you were unwell. Funnily enough, Prim, I mean, this is the order I've got them in. Completely random. Kind of date order, but look. Russell Brand denies serious criminal allegations. Comedian Russell Brand, 48, told his YouTube channel followers last night that he absolutely refutes the serious criminal allegations he says have been made against him. Now, I'm not a fan of Russell Brand. Never have been really. I watched him on Big Brother's Little Brother because he was the first presenter of that. Because I used to watch Big Brother with my then lady friend, girlfriend, whatever. And it's one of those things where he's just not my cup of tea in the stuff he talks about and everything. However, it does seem rather convenient that all this should come up when there's a lot of political stuff going on around the world, that he disagrees with, including the migrants and all the other bits and pieces as well. So, is there an element of truth in it? I've no idea. Is he a rapist? Is he a sexual abuser? I've no idea. Has this been brought up to discredit him? I think it probably has. I think that it might be right that it's been brought up, and he may deserve everything he gets if he's found guilty and is guilty of said things. However, he is a larger-than-life character. He speaks his own mind. He's got millions of people following him and listen to every word he says. He's a film star, he's a comedian, he's a TV presenter, and he's also a little bit... as I said earlier on, there was that video of him where he was at a demonstration before he was famous, and he literally got his little Russell out whilst he was stood on top of a riot van or something similar. So yeah, he's always been a bit out there. But whether or not he's guilty of all this, because we've had a few footballers being dragged through the courts, and turns out that they're found not guilty or the charges have been dropped. I personally don't think that people who are famous in particular should be named for crimes that they are charged with until they've been found guilty for those crimes. So you can say that someone's been arrested, you can say that they are going to court, but you can't go on what's going on in the court or anything like that until they've been convicted of that, because you could ruin careers, you could ruin this, that and the other. And let's be honest, the victims of this, be them genuine or not genuine, are always also anonymous until after the event, where some of them decide to become public and talk about their horrific events and all that kind of thing. That's what I mean. He's anti-government. Big fan of Russell, actually. Oh, this one's not true. There sounds like there may be heavy evidence, text, etc. Yeah, there may be. But again, AI. All this stuff can be made up now as well. I'm not saying he's, pure and undriven snow. I don't think he is. But I think this is the scary thing. Why make these allegations now? Why not say something then? I don't like the guy, but I don't know. It's the person... Well, they don't get any money from it. Yeah, supporting the victims 100%, either whether they're the right victims or not victims. But the thing is, right, say for example, this goes through the courts and he is found guilty of being a rapist, a sex offender, blah blah blah. You can then say, Russell Brand, convicted, sex offender, blah blah blah, so many years in prison. And then other people can say, oh well, actually, and they can come forward and say what happened to them, and then we can do it that way. But it does seem sometimes that they name public figures in particular, and then people come out of the woodwork who might think there's a, oh well, I knew him and he was a bit dodgy, I might be able to get some compensation out of this, and they come out of the woodwork, and then all of a sudden there's loads of people. But none of it might be true to begin with, and it's just people trying to cash in on the situation. I mean, the bigger example would have been many years ago what happened to Cliff Richard and the BBC. Cliff Richard's house, penthouse, whatever it was, was being searched by the police, and the BBC were there with their helicopter, filming it live, naming Cliff Richard and saying it was over child sex abuse claims. Now, he hadn't even been arrested or convicted. They were just searching his property. As it happened, they didn't find anything. Nothing ever came of it. But Cliff Richard's name was being dragged through mud for no reason. And again, whether it's right or wrong, it's difficult to say. And people will say, oh yeah, but if Russell Brand is not named as being questioned or having these allegations raised against him, then he'll get away with it. Well, no, if he's done something wrong, then one would hope he would get convicted of it. But anyway, a comedian isn't funny. It's all down to your personal opinion, isn't it? I don't find people like, what's he called? The guy who wears the flying hat and patchwork shirts. I don't find him funny. He's only funny because he swears, Yeah, that's it. Anyone who's found, guilty or not guilty of this, their career has gone through the floor. I referred earlier on to the couple of events with Hugh Edwards and Philip Schofield, who have also been dragged through the mud. Now, if the people involved at the other end, i.e. the victims, were females, and they, been saying, you know, no, yeah, it was fine, we did this, that and the other, then you'd be like, you know, some people would be like, oh, he's still got it, you know, he's in his 50s, but he can still pull them. But because it's a blog, it's all of a sudden, oh no, it's terrible and shocking and he's manipulated and all that kind of stuff. And there might be an element of that as well. But I do think that Chubby Brown, that's it, thank you, Alan. I do think that there are people who know someone famous and try and cash in on it. And I think we should get to, before people are named publicly, they should be protected until they are found guilty, regardless of what the crime is. You know, I mean, they do it with some people, but yeah, it's like that. Yeah, and that's the way it is. But as I say, we don't know what it is. It's early days yet. Could be anything or nothing. Critics slam Hulk Hogan and Mike Tyson for peddling illicit kid-friendly e-cigs. It's not okay. Now, most kids will have no idea who Hulk Hogan is or who Mike Tyson is, because, let's be honest, they're old men. However, the e-cigs that they've promoted are, what are they? Nicotine vapes, popular amongst teens. Even the Food and Drugs Administration recently made moves to crack down on the sale of illicit products. Over the past year, Tyson and Hogan have pushed disposable nicotine vapes wrapped in loud, colourful colours. Now, as I said last week, we've got a problem with people taking up vaping who've never smoked. And I think Deno's on a bit of a delay. And the joke was initially when vapes first come out, you know, them pen ones that used to explode when you charged them up and they fly across bars and things like that. That people said that they never smoked, they were going to take up vaping and they'd work their way up to cigarettes. The problem is that the industry has been unregulated worldwide and they come up with all these flavours. And if you want to stop kids smoking them, make them unpalatable. So just ban all flavours, full stop. You can have cigarette flavoured vapes, you can have menthol flavoured vapes, that is it. So exactly the same as cigarettes. You can't buy cherry candy flamingo cigarettes. So why the hell can you buy cherry candy flamingo or equivalent vapes? It's aimed at kids. We do not know what the long-term effects of inhaling chemicals directly into the lungs are for children. It's, you know, if you're middle-aged or older and you're giving up cigarettes, then it might be slightly safer than smoking cigarettes, and if you can wean yourself off it, that's fine. But they're there to stop people from smoking. They're not there to get people to vape. And how many times have you walked behind, you know, a couple of teenagers or older people who've got vapes, and it's like following the Flying Scotsman or the Thomas the Tank Engine or something. They're just blowing up smoke everywhere. Yeah, how did product design go so backwards, like having ones just put in the bin? Exactly. I've never done vaping. I'm very anti-vaping because, like I said, I don't know what damage it's doing to your lungs and everything. But I know that the majority of vapes used to be those quite chunky things that you could refill, and they had rechargeable batteries on them. I vape, smoked for over 10 years, never got the appeal of weird flavours. I stick with tobacco flavour. Yeah, Seaside Bandit, exactly. Those flavours are aimed at children, and there's a shop in Wigan that's been shut down for antisocial behaviour, basically repeatedly selling vaping products to kids in school uniforms. I mean, literally, it's the running joke of the town that you'd walk past that shop and there'd be a group of kids out there, all in the school uniforms, all vaping, with one of them in there buying vapes. Anyway, it's been shut down now, and rightly so. But you've got to remove it all. I feel sorry for Willick Schofield. I understand it was because his brother's a convicted paedophile, so it made him scapegoat. Wrong to have an affair, a secret affair. Yeah, it's always wrong to have a secret affair, but split it up to the proportion they did. All should stand down. I can't stand there. Yeah. I do product design go backwards. I've smoked for over 10 years, but yeah, okay. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be. Yes, exactly. That's what it feels like sometimes when you're following people who are vaping. Anyway, the good news is we finally got through America. That's with the steam or smoke from the e-cigs. Well, it's not steam, it's vapour. Basically what an e-cig is, it's you've got this liquid which is like an oil, and then you The petrol station near my school used to sell me cigs in my school uniform. Have we not got better in 20 years? Exactly, Prim. It just makes no sense. You should come to my area, they sell it to kids as well. Yeah. Elder is like your dad, man. I'm not taking responsibility for you. Jeepers. Anyway, Australia. Good news is there's not a lot going on in Australia. Let's go to Australia. I've clicked the wrong thing in Australia. Let's go to Australia. What's going on down under in Australia? It's a chip pan under the nose. Yeah, but it's in the lungs. That's the problem. They're putting it in the lungs, and that's where the issue is. Anyway, there's only 10 things from Australia. So let's see what's going on in Australia. Vegan vegan chocolates recalled after milk found in it. Brilliant. I mean, you know, you couldn't write this muck up, could you? A vegan baked chocolate sold at Coles has been recalled after traces of milk were found. Genius. How do you know if a vegan's a vegan? Should red bins be emptied fortnightly or weekly? Well, in Wigan, our bins get emptied every 3 weeks. But this is Australia. A local Sydney community has come under fire for changing when red rubbish bins will be emptied. The move will see them collected every fortnight rather than weekly. With locals concerned, it will cause serious hygiene problems. Try every 3 weeks, folks. It's horrendous. Vegan meat, yeah. I mean, my thoughts on vegan meat. Oh, I'm going to upset Prim again. Is oh God. Right, vegan meat is processed so heavily it looks like meat and doesn't look like vegan stuff. It's like, no. You had one job. Exactly, Prim. Yes. How do you know a vegan is vegan? I do supply a menu for them. Right, okay. The most and least trusted jobs are revealed in Australia, according to a recent ethics study. So this is in Australia. So the most trusted jobs are firefighters, the most trusted, paramedics, pharmacists, nurses and GPs. So basically people who help people. No, that's nice. Least trusted, real estate agents, directors of a foreign companies operating in Australia. It's quite specific. Federal politicians, state politicians and senior executives. So basically what the rest of the world thinks. Might be on a bit of a delay at the minute because of the adverts, so I'll wait for that to catch up. Credit cards to be banned from online gambling. Penalties of up to $234,750 could apply. I mean, that's very specific, isn't it? What shall we find the companies who take credit cards when people are gambling with them? We will find them $234,750. Perfect. Tesco's are selling double bed sheets with the label saying suitable for vegans. I mean, really, what they're going to do? Eat it, you big cow. I'm not vegan, but maybe I should become one since I'm the token lefty. Genius. Like that, like that. Major Aussie Bank to scrap cash payments. The bank is phasing out cash, cheque and phone payments. Cash, cheque and phone payments are set to be scrapped at a major Aussie bank. Basically, they're trying to push us down the cashless society, which is wrong. Basically, if we go down the cashless society and you're using your debit card or you're using your mobile phone to pay for your shopping when you're in a shop, what is to stop a bank to decide that you can't shop at Tesco because they don't have shares in Tesco, but they have shares in Asda? So your payment method will not work in Tesco, but it will work at Asda because that's where they get paid from. Or what's to stop a government saying that we're giving you money to pay for your gas and electric bills, but you can only spend it on gas and electric, which is what the government did recently in the UK, where they give us that £60 a month, which was brilliant because it paid my electricity for that entire month. It was great, live on me all, so it's perfect. But you can only pay for it on that. So when you get money in the bank, you cannot go to fill your car up with petrol, or you cannot go to a takeaway and use it, because it's cashless. They're monitoring where you're going. They know how much you've spent, where you spent it, how often you spend it. Probably, if it's got barcodes on it, what you bought, how often you buy that thing. I don't go with these club cards either. Why should I only get discount with a supermarket or another shop if I have a card that tells them my age, my address, where I am, what I'm shopping, what I buy regularly, all for getting discounts? If they can afford to give discounts to people, they should do it to everyone, particularly in a cost of living crisis. Plus, they're going down the route of smartphones now, so you can only do it if you're on a smartphone, which means when you agree to have the app on your phone, you also give permission, if you don't read it properly, for third parties to know all the stuff that you're doing, and you don't know who these third parties are. It also gives permission for them to look at your texts, to look at your social media posts, to look at your emails, to look at everything else, your photographs of your family, your friends, intimate pictures, I don't know. All for getting discounts? No, I don't think so. But cashless society is the most dangerous thing at the moment. It's going to happen at some point, but we need to put it off as long as we can. Wait for the token lefty to come in. I got my vegan friends trainers. She said they were chewy. Our new plastic money is made with animal derivatives. Yeah, there is that as well. Yeah, I think it's a joke, Angela. Also, the plastic card from the bank is worse accordingly. No, I think the app's worse because they've got access to your phone. But yeah, the plastic card from the bank is it's monitoring everything you do. But there's nothing in there that tells you where, tells it where you are or anything, because there's no battery power in it. It's only activated when you put it near an electric source, which is a scan machine thing. But no, we need to keep hold of cash. I don't think the token left is caught up yet. This is cute animal alert, but tragic story at the same time. So cute animal alert, tragic story. The world's first dog-fox hybrid is discovered. Ah, look at it. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen? It's a dog-fox hybrid. Brazilian scientists have confirmed they have identified the first ever dog-fox hybrid, rescuing the animal after it was hit by a car. Dubbed a dachshund, the hybrid has a large pointed ears and a dense wiry coat, and is reportedly a cross between a stray dog father and a pampas fox mother. However, the future studies are required to confirm more cases in nature. But that's cute. I only use card. Physical cash is a nick, but not good for vulnerable people if they take it away. No, I'm more concerned about our freedoms of movement. If you came into my shop and you bought, again that hasn't got blue on it, green on it, you bought that game off me, and you paid with cash, only me and you would know that you've been in my shop and you bought that with cash. However, if you bought that with your card, the bank know, my bank know, and God knows who else knows that you were in my shop, at what time you were in my shop, how much you spent, maybe not necessarily on what you spent it on, because I don't have that technology for them to know what you spent it on, but in a supermarket they certainly do. So yeah. So yeah, we've got to be careful, because the controlling aspect of this would be, like I said before, if we've got no cash, you haven't got the right then to go somewhere, anywhere, and buy something for cash, and do it anonymously. Easy for me to say. If you're doing it with a card or other electronic payments, then you are being monitored by people, and they will say, "Oh, hang on a minute, Prim. Well, they always go to that shop. We don't like that shop because they don't agree with our policies." And does Prim agree with their policies as well? Therefore, we need to keep an eye on Prim as well. Okay, keep them watching. Or, right, we're going to shut that shop down. We're going to not allow them to take any card payments from anyone because we don't agree with what they've said. And that shop or business will close down because there's no cash as an alternative. It's scary. It's a rabbit hole we're being dragged down. A woman dies after being tasered by police in Stockton, Newcastle, Australia. A woman has died following the use of a police taser near Newcastle in New South Wales. The 47-year-old had allegedly threatened people and police with an axe before barricading herself inside a unit. A critical incident team will investigate all circumstances surrounding the incident. Now, it's not the first death that we've covered on this show from tasering in Australia. You remember the 90-odd-year-old woman who was tasered in a nursing home because she had a butter knife or something in her hand? It's scary. It really is. The tasers are set wrong in Australia, definitely. The world's tallest dog, dead at age 3. That is a 3-year-old dog. Zeus, the world's tallest dog, has sadly died at just 3 years of age after battling bone cancer. The Great Dane was a mammoth 1.046 metres tall and passed away from amputation-related pneumonia. See, I can say pneumonia. Most people go Pinot. I'm trans, they will come for me first anyway. I'm first on the list. They best know where I get my iced coffee from. Well, if they know what time you go for your iced coffee, you're screwed. Should American XL bully dogs be banned in Australia? There are calls for Australia to follow suit with the UK after the PM announced plans to first recognise and then ban the breed by the end of the year, following a spate of horrific attacks. The breed is believed to be made of a number of different breeds, including the American Pit Bull Terrier, which is already banned in Great Britain and Australia. Yeah, I'm a big believer in they should be banned, just for the safety and for the cruelty of the animal. They are being bred to be dangerous. They're not bred to be nice. They're not bred to be a companion. They're not bred to be a pet. They are bred to be a token. Look at me, I'm hard as nails. You ain't going to mess with me because I've got this dog. I don't know how to look after it. I don't know how to train it. If I let it loose, it'll probably kill someone, but that's because I'm hard. It doesn't matter. No, these dogs, sadly, should not exist. They have been bred deliberately. I also think the same about pugs as well, for completely different reasons. Pugs have been bred so that they've got a flat face. That's not natural. It's cruel for the dogs. They should be banned as well, but for completely different reasons. For the well-being of the individual dog. I mean, they literally struggle to breathe every breath they do. But these dogs are bred to be evil. It's not the dog's fault. It's the people who breed them. It's the people who own them. But sadly, there's no other way around it. Yeah, I'm more of a cat man myself. But, you know, what can I say? But these dogs are not bred for pets. These dogs are bred to be evil. That's the end of the story. It's a shame. And it's not the dog's fault. But the thing is, they are what they are. And they are dangerous. Anyway, finally, bad news is, there's a shed load of finally. So I'm going to rattle through these because we've already been on for, I think we've been on for, Jesus, have a look. Good offer there. Been on for 2 hours and 22 minutes. Last week I did this in 38 minutes, but I was ill, so I just rattled through it. But I'm going to do that now with this, so apologies if I rattle on and you can't keep up with me. I will try and comment as and when. I've no idea why there's a picture of what looks like, what she call that actress? But there is. I've no idea why that's there. Buy one burger for the price of 2 and receive a second burger absolutely free. That is the deal of the week. Whoever you are, however drunk you were, be proud. To be fair, that is spectacular. Always check people who are suitable for the job when you give them the job. Having a bad day, at least you didn't forget to put the lid on tight when you started the paint shaker. Question is, who asked for that colour? Meanwhile, in Cheshire, UK, 100 people raced through Cheshire town on penny farthings, as you do. Fleshlight golden orb found at bottom of ocean, analysed by fearful scientists. Scientists for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, discovered the object on the ocean floor 2 miles off the coast of Alaska and are now working to analyse it. It looks like the brother of the mudman, the mummy mudman man thing found in a mud swamp somewhere, the marsh guy. Heat waves officially make Brits hornier as people are keen to get their kit off. I seem to have less energy during heat waves, I'll be honest with you, so the thought of having rumpy pumpy in a heat wave is not anything good. And yeah, and when I get my kit off, anyone around me definitely doesn't feel horny. Has the hot weather been making you feel hornier than usual? No. It turns out there may be a reason why. Saucy Brits have been keen to strip during this, due to the scorching temperatures. I do the strip, but I live on my own, so it's fine. No, don't. First day back at work tomorrow morning. Thankfully, no pains. I'm being haunted by a ghost child and caught it on camera after buying it gifts. Yeah, right, okay. A mum of 3, Melina Parkinson, claims she and her family have been convinced their house of 16 years is haunted, but now she says she has photos to prove it. Sadly, we don't get to see any of the photos to prove it, which is a shame. Guy Fawkes, masked member of Putin's youth army, stabs 4 in school rampage. A masked knife-wielding assailant allegedly went on a rampage in a Russian school in search of retribution after one of his teachers gave him poor grades. Also claiming he saw Ukrainians and Poles in the school, so he was doing his bit for Putin. One of my favourite artists is Banksy. And here's one of his latest, The Psychos. So you got Trump, Putin on drums, and Kim Jong-un on guitar. And it does look really cool, I'll be honest. I'd go and see that band. Well done, Angela, by the way. Good luck with that. Banksy Archive. It's genius. I can't confirm or deny that that is Banksy in the picture. But yeah, that is fantastic. Gotta love it. Putin. Chinese force gun can turn soldiers into zombies, and it could be given to Putin. Right, okay. That how desperate we are getting Putin. China are working on force field guns that turn soldiers into zombies. Brilliant. I'm a martial arts expert. It's impossible to fight off an American Bully XL dog. How do you know? I mean, it probably is, but you don't know that. You can't say it's impossible to fight one off. Terrifying images of a bully-type dog chasing a man around a petrol forecourt shortly after it savaged an 11-year-old have gone viral, but martial artist says it would have gotten the better of anyone. Good to know. Disrespectful woman caught snogging Little Mermaid statue at the tourist hotspot in Denmark, Copenhagen. That's not disrespectful. What was disrespectful was when people went and chopped its head off. That was disrespectful. Bigfoot skeptics' beliefs shattered at seeing a 10-foot beast he could hear breathing. Yet he still got a shit camera. Paul Freeman, a man initially sceptical over the existence of Bigfoot, found himself fully believing the beast after he claimed to have encountered a 10-foot titan in the forest. But his camera was so shit that it just looks like a blurry thing filmed 20 years ago on VHS. Putin's nuclear threat to UK as he claims special forces are playing with fire. Speaking at the Eastern Economic Summit in Vladivostok in Russia, Putin claimed a UK-backed group of Ukrainian troops operating inside his country tried to sabotage atomic power lines. Yeah, let's hope they did. But which Putin was it? More about the Bully XLs. American bully breeders announced freakishly bloodlines like fight promotions. Velamine pocket bully breeders boast their extreme bloodline produces dogs packed rock solid with muscle, but have been criticised for announcing litters like fight promotions. That's what I was on about. They're just token things, but they don't work because the people who buy them are not dog lovers. I breastfed my husband. It's made us closer, and he's never been healthier. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that is just a bit gross. Terminally ill Vladimir Putin will die before end of autumn, expert claims. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been plagued by rumours of imminent death, severe illness and body doubles since he first invaded neighbouring Ukraine over a year ago. To be fair, he was accused of that before he invaded Ukraine. Lottery winner sick for weeks after scooping 6 million before buying a dog and before buying her dog a Bentley. I thought she bought a dog and called it Bentley. A lottery winner who bagged a whopping $6 million said the stress of scooping the enormous jackpot made her sick for weeks, and she ultimately put the money towards an unusual gift for her pet. She bought the dog a Bentley, and that made her better. NASA told the world that aliens and UFOs exist, or to tell the world that aliens and UFOs exist tomorrow in a bombshell report, except of course they didn't, because they don't. Cockapoo, who landed Wilco job facing redundancy, has chained shut stores. I mean, seriously, it's a dog. I mean, it's cute, it's got a little badge and everything, it's got a little red jumper thing to wear. An adorable pooch who landed a job at Wilco thanks to their obsession with the supermarket may be facing redundancy after the beloved high street chain collapsed into administration last month. They are not going to give a dog a redundancy payments. I mean, it's cute and all that, but no, don't be stupid. The real Putin may now be a gibbering wreck in a straitjacket and high on meth. Now, one thing I've always said, and I've said this all the way through this war, is that anything that the United States, the UK or other NATO allies say, you take with a pinch of salt, because it's propaganda. Everything's propaganda in a war. Anything Ukraine say you take with a truck of salt. A pot of salt. Anything that Russia says you take with a truck of salt, and anything China says you take with a salt mine. Okay? That's how it works. So yeah, the real Putin may now be a gibbering wreck in a straitjacket and high on meth. Nah. But yeah, this is an exclusive. Rumours of Vladimir Putin having body double and being half dead have been running rampant for nearly 2 years, and leading experts tend to agree with them. It's like, what? It's okay, it'll go to Poundland. I don't know where they get this crap from, but it entertains me. I mean, this section here is stuff that makes me go, or just LOL. Wilco. Wilco reprieved as brand bought by the range in huge £5 million deal. It's not huge, £5 million is not a lot of money. As Wilco plans to shut its 400 stores after collapsing into administration, the range has sparked new hopes after confirming it will buy the brand in a multi-million pound deal. Yeah, but only for online only. It's not buying it for the stores. So that's not happening. I'm Dave, I'm a flat earther, and I'm sure aliens are here. Check behind Antarctica. David Weiss said he originally wanted to disprove the idea that our planet isn't a globe, but now he's certain that we are all being lied to as part of a gigantic conspiracy to control us. I go with the conspiracy to control us thing, but with, yeah, this loon. Oh, okay, Cockapoo, go to the range then, yes. Lad who called 911 over garden UFO tells of haunting visits from 10-foot aliens. Angelo Kenmore and his family stand by their claims. They saw 2 10-foot aliens with teeth and antennae in their garden on the same night. Police saw a green light falling from the sky. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago that conclusive proof that aliens exist from America in this valley, where this 3-foot alien was photographed in a river? But the alien was invisible, and they said the alien was invisible, so it was just a photograph of a river. I was convinced. Don't know about you. Sorry, just threw me completely. Monkey checks himself into hospital 3 times and is treated by baffled medics. The injured animal knew exactly where to go to be treated for wounds believed to have been caused by electric shocks from sitting on power lines, and doctors took pity on him. Hence, he's got little bandages on his legs. So when he gets hurt, he goes to the local hospital and waits there, and they come out and treat him. Very clever. I mean, monkeys are a lot cleverer than we give them credit for. Steve Jobs photographed alive and hiding in Egypt ahead of new iPhone release. Apple unveiled its new iPhone 15 range this week, and some people reckon deceased CEO Steve Jobs could still be pulling the strings behind the scenes after a photograph of a doppelganger emerged from Egypt. Yeah, I'm convinced. To be fair, it's more convincing than the UFOs, give them that. Kim Jong-un to meet Putin's body double as Russian dictator terminally ill. Kim Jong-un has headed to Russia where he plans to meet Vladimir Putin, but sources have claimed the ex-KGB agent hasn't been out in public for more than a year as he battles a terminal illness. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, talk about contradicting yourself in the news. That's all they do from now on, because South Korea... Oh, I've done that one, sorry. That was in the wrong place. That's the one I was after. A Russian pilot tried shooting down RAF plane after believing he had permission. A near shootout could have been a Russian fighter blow a British surveillance jet out of the sky in what is now feared to have been an intentional launch, initially portrayed as a malfunction. Turns out that they were given the permission by the Russian Air Force to engage contact with the British aeroplane, which was doing reconnaissance. 30 people on board, no way of defending itself, and one of the pilots assumed that meant blow it up. He fired a rocket, a missile, it missed. There was then allegedly some chatter between the other pilot who was saying, what the hell are you doing? We're engaged with them, as in let them know we're here, not destroy them, at which point the first plane that fired the rocket fired another plane which just dropped to the ground, which was over the sea thankfully in international waters, and the two planes retreated. Had that aeroplane destroyed the British plane, I dare say I wouldn't be sat here talking to you now, and I don't think you'd be sat there watching anything. I don't think we'd exist anymore. So that's how close we were to a nuclear war, and that was in September, early September. Family who saw 10-foot aliens landing yard draw them, and they're interesting. Well, I'm convinced. Lanky, toothy, greyish, 8 to 10 foot figures with antennae for ears came down from space and settled in suburban garden in Las Vegas, Nevada on May the 1st, according to the family who live in the property. Well, I'm convinced, 100% convinced that that is a genuine drawing of a genuine alien. Meanwhile, Putin and Kim Jong-un gave each other personalised guns as gifts during talks. Putin and Kim Jong-un met in Russia this week to talk about weapons and supplies, but they also swapped guns while they scoffed down on a very lavish and expensive meal. It was indeed very lavish and very expensive. But now the same paper that was saying that Kim Jong-un was going there to meet a doppelganger is actually saying that he met Putin. Contradictions. Ooh, contradictions. World War III nearly sparked by a Russian pilot who tried shooting down an RAF spy plane. I don't think that's a pilot, that's just some random picture of some guy who was happy that we didn't end up in World War III. Meanwhile, a man poos himself to death on loo incident weirdly similar to Elvis Presley's. A poor pensioner demanded a doctor give him an enema for a serious bad constipation, but rather than waiting for medication to kick in, he had the procedure and ended up having a heart attack, which is exactly how Elvis died, apparently, whilst eating a burger. Yeah. Anyway, back to the aliens. It's possible aliens have incredibly advanced technology to help get to Earth. Well, if they've got to Earth, they have got incredibly advanced technology because, well, compared to us anyway. A leading expert has claimed that there is credence to the claims that aliens could be using incredibly advanced technology to get to Earth. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. It's obviously incredibly advanced technology if they've got to Earth because they've come from light years away. But of course they don't exist, so the whole thing's irrelevant. You're not an expert, you're an idiot. Let's have a look at a rat riding a cork popped from a champagne bottle. Just makes the world feel better. Thank you, Banksy, for bringing us back down to Earth by showing us a flying rat. If you want to look at more Banksy stuff, check out the playlist for Greater Manchester bus journeys, and look at the one with the picture of a Banksy, because it's when I went to the exhibition in Manchester that's currently touring the world, although it's Salford technically, and I filmed it. Randy Ramblers leaving Lake District littered with condoms and laughing gas, which of course is soon to be banned. Not the condoms, the laughing gas. We're not Catholic. The UK's beauty spots are being left coated in litter, including scraps of food, condoms, toilet waste and laughing gas canisters, as day trippers romp and party in the countryside. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? At least they're enjoying the countryside. And then destroying the heritage by leaving all that shit there. This is a weird one. Drunk raccoons with taste for ale are breaking into homes on the piss across the UK. Well, since when do we have raccoons in the UK? Rowdy raccoons have developed a taste for beer and are now going on booze-fueled adventures, including breaking into homes up and down the UK and wreaking havoc. What? We don't have... Do we have... We do not... We... What? That's got to be USA. That's got to be a typo. I think someone's on the piss taken the writing the bloody report. We don't have raccoons all over the UK. I'm not saying there aren't places where there aren't raccoons, because I dare say there are some have escaped from wherever, but they are not rampant across the UK. That is the first I've heard of them being referred to as all over the UK. Horrified woman awoken by fireball meteorite crashing into a garden from space. A woman was horrified when a fireball fell from the sky and came crashing into a garden in the middle of the night, waking her up and even breaking her table. God, the news is so shit. Go to sleep now. Thanks for the fun convo. Good luck on Monday, Angela. Good night, folks. Thanks, Prim. You might be a regular one day, who knows? But yeah, it's a good, lively debate there. And yeah, you sleep tight and good luck in your first day back at work tomorrow. We're coming up to debunking aliens, though. Including this. Boffins put living fungus skin on robot after being inspired by the Terminator. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Terminator was not covered in fungus. Antonio Gandia and Andrew Adamansky have devised a plan based on their shared love for the Terminator films, where they managed to grow fungal skin onto a robot. I'm not finished yet, we're still going. We're still going. It was an active stream, and thanks to the interaction from you guys as well. Uri Geller says more ancient aliens are on Earth and knows where to look. Yeah, because Uri Geller is a trusted human, isn't he? But don't worry, because these aliens, it turns out, are crisps. No. Iconic American fast food chain serving delicious chicken set for UK return. Chick-fil-A, someone mentioned this to me this week, is set to return to the UK. So let's get even fatter, shall we? Meanwhile, if you like cake, good news. Those aliens that we looked at were just cakes. No, they weren't. It's obviously set up, but it makes as much sense as anything else. So there you go. We've debunked the myth. These aliens are in fact cake. So hopefully you're still here to see that, Prim. If not, you missed the best bit. Nom 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 nom. Meanwhile, it gets more ridiculous. Killer cows are UK's deadliest animal, with 4,000 attacks a year, experts say. I think we all know that cows are the biggest, most dangerous animal in the UK, because people are stupid enough to walk through fields with cows in them, particularly when they've calved. Yeah. And they do kill people because they'll charge at you, and they're quite big, and they are protecting their children, and you're in their space. Wild claims King Charles flew UFO to save lives in secret military mission. I feel like I've gone to the what was it called? Sport on Sunday, because this makes as much makes as much sense as headlines from the Sport on Sunday. The famous headline: World War II bomber found on moon, and there's a picture of the moon with a World War II bomber superimposed over it, massive compared to the size of the moon, and it says World War II, proof that Nazis made it to the moon, World War II bomber found on the moon. And you're like, this is absolute nonsense. The week after, World War II bomber on moon mysteriously disappears. So yeah, we now come up with wild claims. King Charles flew UFO to save lives in secret military mission. No, he didn't. Piling to a Tesla-powered UFO craft, bizarre claims have suggested King Charles III saved lives during his extraction of a UFO craft from a base in Canada, according to a diver who worked with him. I scream, absolute nonsense BS twaddle. This isn't though, this is the more serious story of the week. Jaffa Cake fans spot McVitie's treat shrunk in size and they are not happy. Jaffa Cake fans are furious after noticing McVitie's tweaked the size of the popular Tangy Street without cutting the price. The size of the product has been reduced. No poo Sherlock. There was a London bus found on the moon. There was a London bus found on the moon as well. And also, you've got to remember that Elvis Presley's head in his grave was replaced by a football, which also mysteriously vanished after X-rays. Bloke who spent 12.5 grand to become a dog has now dreams to star in a canine movie. A man in Japan who spent over 2.5 grand on realistic costume to dress up as a collie dog now wishes to grow his reputation to feature in a big Hollywood canine blockbuster and find other doggy companions. Yeah, when it's sat down, it does look remarkably good like a dog. When it's like that, it looks like a guy on all fours in a dog costume. It's nonsense, but because of animal cruelty and all that, maybe it's the only way to do bring Lassie back. Junior Andre's music career takes off as single hits #1 in charts, and you're like, whoa, well done, Junior Andre, you've had a #1. Yeah, Peter Andre and Katie Price's son Junior have started following in his father's footsteps, and his newly released song was his newly released song has hit #1 in the charts within a number of hours. For a number of hours. It's not #1 anymore. So it's not quite the same. And yeah, but good luck to him. Following after his dad. Owner of XL Bullies that mauled man described beast as mean looking. Ian Price was killed after dogs ran into his 89-year-old mum's garden and set upon him. The owner has since been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter and having dogs dangerously out of control. Now, if that's the guy whose dogs they are, and they are the dogs involved, you can tell by looking at him, looking at just the one arm, that this guy is one of them guys who've got these dogs to make him look hard. He's got tattoos on his hand, "I've me, I've got these 2 dogs, I've me." Yeah, go to prison, mate. Absolute joke. And it's cruel on the dogs. The dogs are going to get destroyed now, and it's not their fault. They've been created. Brits face wet weekend as Met Office issues 11-hour thunderstorm warnings. Brits will have to take caution on Sunday as the Met Office has issued 2 yellow warnings for thunderstorms which will rain down on Wales and the southwest, possibly causing flooding and power cuts. So there you go. What a show that was. I've rattled through 51 finally stories there. Well, 50 because one of them was doubled. And that is it. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. This is going to be a mammoth. I always give a shout out to everyone who spoke. We've had 82 views. Average is 17 minutes 9 seconds is the average. We've got 6 or 4 people watching at the moment. We've had 8 likes. Highest concurrent was towards the end where we had 14 people watching. When was that? What time was that? Oh no, the time is all wrong on this for some reason. So yeah, we had 14 people watching at one time and 10 people, and it's been averaging 9 and 10 people. So yeah, pretty good, successful stream. I'm not saying goodbye yet. Hi Kim, by the way, I think I missed you coming on, but I've got you now, so that's good. Oh no. Right, it's reset the chat, so we're not going to get everyone on board. So I'm going to give a shout out to Alan Barton, Seaside Bandits, Toff, A Totty Lady, Stephen LFC1, Angela O'Kane, a Dotty Lady, I think I've done Dotty Lady actually, Prim Travels, sorry, I've supported for that long. Tetty, Andrew Rogers, didn't specify what. Cheesy Gamer, Deno and his mum, NE, welcome back after your stay in an establishment. I'm sure it was lovely. Seaside Bandit. Apologies if I don't call you out, but if you've been on the stream since the beginning, it might be worth just saying goodbye or something, and then I'll get you at the end. But yeah, massive debate been going on today. It's possible why it's reset. Yeah, it's just the massive chat we had with Prim Travels, which got quite deep, but well mannered and everything. So there you go. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. And I will see you all again next time. Because, yeah, 2 hours and 50 minutes. We were doing any videos with Silence doing food tasting. Yeah, I need to get back in the good books again. I've been running her over earlier on with the chair. So yeah, I'll make her. I'll do a video. I've also got a cooking video that I've not done. I'm feeling great now. I'm back to 100% again. I was rough, and I'm now thinking that I may have had COVID, because I've not had any injections or anything. So I assumed if I got COVID, I'd be laid up. But I think it might have been COVID now. So I think it's a case of I had sore throat, I had a headache, I was extremely tired, I had a bit of a cough, and then I looked online what the symptoms were for the new COVID, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, so what can you do? Yeah, just a case of you're representing the channel, so watch your language and your opinions and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I might have caught it, because there was someone who last week brought a load of stuff to the shop, and they were extremely knackered, and they kind of went, but for about an hour, and I'm stood right in that, and I'm just breathing it all in, and I'm like, what are you doing? There's no point moving, because by that point you'd already breathed on me. But yeah, but I'm fine. Everything's hunky-dory again. I'm sleeping normally again now. I'm going upstairs 2 at a time again. But I genuinely didn't sleep the week before because of the heat. So I just assumed I'd overtired myself. More so because I was doing all these long walks. I was walking for 3 hours after being at work, standing up all day for 8 hours, having walked to work. So, but yeah, I'm a lot better this week. But thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. And yeah, it's been a good one. So don't forget, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, etc, 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 and that'll be great. She was concerned about me because I wasn't well when I went on Tuesday, but I didn't think I had COVID then. And but she's fine. I've spoke to her today on the phone, and she was very chirpy, and she was very happy that I was okay and on the better side. So yeah, you looked awful. I look awful anyway. Duh. So, mind you, look better than them bloody mummified aliens. Mind you, I don't look good at it, didn't I? But yeah, I didn't have a day off work, which is probably not the right thing to do under the circumstances, but it was one of them things, wasn't it? So anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to get on and watch the qualifying of the Grand Prix and see what has upset certain racing drivers, and congratulate the Ferrari on getting the pole position. Alan was concerned while you were driving. So alright, I'm going now anyway, Deno. Good night to your mum and yourself, and hopefully see you soon. Don't do anything silly. But yeah. Yeah, we're all back to normal again now. So life is adequate. But yeah, it's getting on. It's coming up to 11 o'clock at night. So good night. Sleep well, everyone, and I'll be seeing you. If you've only just joined in, it was a very entertaining 3 hours of debate, including discussing many things, including the war, including dogs, including UFOs, and a very long debate on the rights and wrongs of giving children blockers, hormone blockers, before puberty, which I disagree with very strongly, and other people agreed with. So we had a good debate about that. It was civil, it was polite, it was respectful, and yeah, great show. So massive thanks to everyone. You can watch it back, and I will see you again next time. Until then, I'll be seeing you. Bye. I've done it now.